of 5-star reviews. Michael, what else have you done to garner this attention?
We try to help every dog in the triangle. That's our goal, and I know Ripken will want every dog to be an all-star just like him. So that's why we came out with all-star dog training.
All-Star Dog Training. It's a rebrand in honor of Ripken. What services do you offer?
At our 5,000 square foot facility in Apex, we offer private lessons, day train programs, puppy classes, and even board and trains. But always remember, we'll come to you too.
And it's the same training that not only helped Ripken be such a well-trained legend, but also his full-blooded brother, Champ, who's taken over?
Champ will be there this season for the Durham Bulls.
Same all-star team, new all-star name. Check them out at allstardogtraining.com.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation, and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
Welcoming you back to appointment day at the Martinez house. Raul Martinez looking stressed about scheduling a colon cancer screening, but he just pledged to get screened.
Stand Up to Cancer and Optum want to help you reduce your risk for cancer. Visit takeahealthystand.org.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Ooh, it's a hot and muggy afternoon. Most likely the hottest that we'll see this week, though. High of 92, feeling more like upper 90s and a small chance for thunderstorms. 72 overnight tonight, and we're cooler tomorrow at the high of 87, partly cloudy with just a small chance for storms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 35 points to 44,910.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits! Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Monday, everybody. Do our best to keep it optimistic after, do we call it football? No, we call it preseason football from the Carolina Hurricanes. Goodness gracious.
Them too.
If they played preseason football, I bet you they'd score. Their starters might go more than 3 and out. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox producing the show. Before we get to the Big 3 at 3, we are bringing back Monday Sound Off today. So if there's something in the sports world you want to talk about, we will open up the phone lines at 4:20 for your thoughts. Bookmark the phone number. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. We are looking forward to hearing from you at 4:20. Have thoughts on Bryce Young, Dave Canales, anything in between, football, hockey, college basketball, whatever you want to do. We give you the steering wheel at 4:20 with a little Monday sound off. In the meantime, we'll take control of things with the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
Panthers fans are caught in a real pickle here. And the pickle is you want to be the cool calm, collected fan base that looks at the preseason. Just preseason. Who cares? Bengals haven't won a preseason game since 22. Almost said 02. Since 22. Look at them. They're winning. They're cool. Everybody likes Joe Burrow. Who cares? And then the other part of you wants to be, what the heck was that? Got like the angel and devil on your shoulders.
What?
Devil going, preseason? Okay, they were hiding. They're not going to show anything in the preseason. The other side's going, why can't the starting offensive line open a hole? Even though some of those starters weren't there. Why can't the number one offense pick up first down? Why didn't they go back in for a third series, which seemed to be the plan going into the game? Then they played awful, like they needed a third series, and they didn't get it. After the game, Dave Canales, the head coach, who should be the man with the answers, was asked why the starters didn't play a third drive.
I just wanted them to go out and earn another series, and I just really felt like, with giving them 2 shots to do it and it not coming up, I wasn't going to just put them back out there to kind of say, hey, let's just play some more football. That kind of paired with we got great work 2 days ago. And I just kind of looked at it that way. I felt like, the work we got against the Texans in the practice was good enough for me to kind of look at that, and wanted them to get the prep and get ready for the game, get out there and get a couple of series. But that's kind of what was behind it.
I have problems with that logic. You wanted them to earn their third drive. Okay. They weren't playing well. You're going to punish them by not playing in the preseason. Got you. But isn't that a great opportunity to learn how to pick yourself up by the bootstraps when you don't start well? Isn't there going to be a game at some point that matters, that counts, where you're going to start slow and you're going to have to figure out a way to change it? Isn't that a great time for Teteroa McMillan or Xavier Leggett or Chububber, or whoever your playmakers are, to feel the moment of, all right, we need a spark. How can I be that? Isn't that a great moment? Instead of, you're not playing well enough, go sit in the corner. Take your ball and go home. It's the preseason. I get it. It's an offense that needs confidence. We haven't even gotten to the defense yet. Listen, the defense, some of your best players aren't playing. I don't have super high expectations for the defense anyway. It's quite frankly less of a big deal to me, right? What you get out of the defense is what you get out of the defense, especially without guys like J.C. Horn out there, who, by the way, practiced today and did get his stitches out. So congratulations to him. Is that a congratulations moment?
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations on getting your
out. Yeah, let's go.
You are healing. Way to go, J.C. Horn. You made the conscious decision to no longer need stitches. Listen, the offense, I didn't love what I saw. I didn't love what I saw really from anybody, which is a concern. And until the regular season starts and they make us take those concerns and put them away, then I'm going to be on high alert. That's number one. Let's get to number two.
Number two.
Caleb Wilson got paid. How about it? Caleb Wilson, incoming 5-star freshman for the UNC basketball team, is getting some big-time shoe endorsement money. According to ESPN sources, North Carolina's Caleb Wilson, a projected 2026 NBA draft lottery pick, has signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar shoe endorsement deal with New Balance. Now, I've been told by people that are more, ready for this, hip than I am, that might be more with it than I am, that New Balance of today isn't the New Balance when I was growing up.
Oh, it's definitely not.
It's much cooler than it used to be. So it's this is a big deal. This is not him, I remember early on there was like a Converse movement or a Fila movement or something where a bunch of guys were signing with those over the Nikes and the Adidases because they were being paid way more. They might be a 4th or 5th rate star on Nike, but they were like premier on Fila or whatever it was.
I think Grant Hill was a Fila guy.
Yeah, well, this was more recent than Grant.
Not trying
to knock Grant. Grant Hill shoes were kind of cool. A little before my sneaker time. Either way, my point is this is real. Cooper Flagg was New Balance last year for a multi-million-dollar, multi-year deal. And that is a good sign for UNC. Shoe companies putting up millions of dollars, they don't mess around with their money, right? They have scouts like an NBA team, right? They don't want to go ahead and give money just on someone that's a 5-star and have it turn out not to be a good player. This is an investment in who all of their analytics say is an NBA future star. New Balance doesn't want to spend millions of dollars on a guy that goes in the second round. New Balance doesn't want to spend millions of dollars on a guy that goes in the late first and is a projected role player 3-and-D guy. They want to spend on somebody that has the potential to be one of the faces of New Balance. Go watch Air, the I think it's an Amazon movie, all about how Nike signed Jordan, right? They have Sonny Vaccaros out there, if you know who that is. They are supposedly basketball gurus that go around trying to sign the next big thing. This is an investment in Caleb Wilson's NBA future, and his NBA future only happens if he plays really well this year. They're projecting he will, and he plays in really high-profile games. And he plays well in those games, which is all good for UNC. A third party is co-signing their big investment in one of their players, Caleb Wilson, because in modern day everything, right? The basketball program of UNC had to go ahead and invest quite a bit of money in Caleb Wilson, I'm sure, to get him on campus. So someone else spending money on him has to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
That goes for everything, right? You see a house in your neighborhood that gets bought for more than you bought your house. You're like, all right, someone else sees the value. We're doing good here. Same thing. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
Big 3 at 3 continues with a men's and women's basketball doubleheader for the NC State Wolfpack. Ready for this? In Greensboro. It'll be the fans' first opportunity to see the 2026 version of the men's and women's basketball team. Sunday, October 26th, it'll be a combo of exhibition games. Women will take on Maryland. That's a good program. At 2 p.m., followed by the men hosting South Carolina. Hosting? Yeah, we'll call it hosting.
Hosting, yeah.
Home state. Hosting South Carolina at 4:30. Tickets are going to be available this upcoming Friday. How about it? I like this for both sides. Do you know why? Bringing in those two teams in particular, Maryland for the women, South Carolina for NC State, for the men, I should say, they're going to feel real. And then putting it in Greensboro, where nobody has to tell any of you, but I'll say it out loud anyway, there is a feverish college basketball fan base. It'll have a crowd. They'll care. And you're going to get, you can't simulate a regular season game fully, but you're going to get as close to a regular season feel as you can, which is important, right? Both teams are going to have some new players that they're going to be depending on, meaning men's and women's side for NC State, and this will give them as good of a dress rehearsal as you can get.
And plus, if you're State and South Carolina in this regard, you get a little bit of taste of going out on the road, even though it's really just an hour and a half trip down to Greensboro. Hey, we still got to travel. We still got to go through our preparations and all those kinds of things because you're going to have to do that at some point. Again, there's only one true road game that NC State plays this year, and that's at Auburn in the ACC-SEC Challenge. Otherwise, they're in Maui or they're at Lenovo. That's it. So it's be good for them to actually get out of the building, get out of Raleigh for, just for even for an exhibition game. It's so good.
Mm-hmm. No, it's very good. It's all for the exhibition games, even more so than the regular season schedule like we've been talking about. It's all about getting out the jitters, getting used to the actions that you're going to have to do in season. It is, for lack of a better term, a dress rehearsal. You treat it as much as you can like a game. The only difference is the win or loss won't, get you into or hold you out of the NCAA tournament, which is a nice little tiny bit of lowered stakes to get all the jitters out. And then also, when you're Will Wade in the NC State men and you have so many new players, it's another opportunity for you to go through a metaphorical battle to see who's a foxhole guy with you and see who you can depend on in the big moments. And then lastly, especially for you, Dennis, it's an opportunity to uphold the virtues and superiority of North Carolina over South Carolina.
Exactly. I don't care who it is. Take out anyone from South Carolina.
And it's Greensboro, which is cool, and it's recruiting, and it's everything else. There's a lot of business that goes into these decisions, but also a lot of competitive advantages that go into these situations as well. That's it for the Big Three at 3 here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We have a true breakdown of the Panthers' preseason loss to Houston coming up next. Where did those struggles come from? I'll tell you next.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Summer's wrapping up, and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that doesn't quit. And neither should you. Who has time to slow down due to body pain? That's why there's Aleve, to keep you going. With just one pill, Aleve delivers longer-lasting body pain relief per dose compared to other leading OTC-branded pain relievers. Aleve helps you keep moving from sunup to sundown with up to 12 hours of pain relief per dose, so you can keep moving and be ready for whatever's next. Use as directed.
Championship savings are happening now at Global Golf. Check out the summer sale with big savings on apparel, shoes, golf balls, and more. Plus, shop Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs, where we have everything you need from top brands like Callaway, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Ping, and Titleist. Plus, the easiest way to trade in your current golf clubs now with a 50% trade-in bonus. Swing by Global Golf Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, located at 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh.
Sets up in the pocket, looking middle. Pocket breaks down, he rolls out to the right side. At the 15, directing traffic at the 10. Throws back in the end zone, Jalen Coker's got it. Coker for the touchdown, and the Panthers score first.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You know what's not a good sign? When we're going to be talking Carolina Panthers preseason, and Dennis wants to come out of break with a highlight, so he has to completely skip over the game that was played this weekend and grab a highlight from preseason week 1. Because what are you going to show?
That's the only touchdown in this entire preseason so far for the Panthers. That.
Okay, and I'll even be the yeah but guy there, the well actually guy, and say, well, actually the starters only had 4 drives, and that was so it's one of 4 drives ended in a touchdown. Yeah, well the other 3 were 3 and outs. Okay. It's not good. And I tried to, right? I tried to go back and do the well actually thing in more detail, right? Because I went back and I watched every play the starters were in, including the one of the opening play called back due to a penalty. And I went and watched like reverse, go forward, reverse, go forward, like every play, because there's only 7 of them for the starters. They didn't go back in for the 3rd series. 7. I could watch them all 100 times, which was kind of a nice luxury. And I was looking for the if this one thing went different, it could have been a huge play. I was looking for that in every place, right? Because I'm going, maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought. It was really just a unfortunate sequence of events. Guy runs into a ref. Oh, look at that. Guy slips. Oh, look at that, right? Like I was hoping for that. It was actually worse the more I looked at it.
Yeah.
So the first play, interception called back on penalty. It was a rollout scramble, okay? You hope Bryce saw the flag and said, I've got a free play here, I'm going to launch it. It's also important to say, I hope he not only saw the flag, I hope he saw the flag and the penalty that was thrown for, because it was not a offsides, right? Offsides is the ultimate. If a flag is thrown right at the snap and they let you play on, you know it's not a false start because that would have stopped the play, so it's not on the offense. You know it's on the defense. You can take the chance knowing you'll get it back if it's an interception. That was a post-snap penalty. So you hope he saw Sanders get held and saw the flag come in and then threw, quite frankly, a really bad 50-50 ball. Because that's the only way that decision makes a lick of sense. And then, as you just heard me say, that was a really bad give a guy a chance throw. I mean, even if the defender, Stingley Jr., who probably not the guy you want to test, but even if Stingley Jr. wasn't there to make the catch, it would have skipped to Xavier Legette. So, at best, it's a neutral decision for Bryce and a bad throw. At worst, it's a horrendous decision by Bryce, and he got bailed out.
Yeah, my thought on that throw was, okay, if you're going to chuck it up there, you think you have a free play, at least give Legette a chance.
Chuck it up there. Throw a true jump ball.
Throw it out there.
You can't leave that short.
6 yards short.
Second play, handoff, gain of 2. The more I watched it, the more confused I was. There are 3 options here. It was either a really bad play call, a missed assignment up front, which would have been really missed, or a horrendous cut by Chuba Hubbard. One of those 3. And we don't know because we aren't in the playbook, right? But the fact of the matter is the guy that made the tackle was completely unblocked. Now, if this is a what we used to call a guts call from the play caller, then after the play action kind of rollout, whatever you want to call it, on the opener, maybe you thought you didn't have to block the defensive end because if you rolled out Bryce Young in the fake, he would run with him and the fake would block him, which would be a real guts call. It'd be like, hey, second play of the game, we already know what this defensive end is doing so much that we can take advantage of it. If it's a missed assignment, then somebody was supposed to be blocking him, right? Then that tackle should have peeled back. They should have communicated differently. Or you're leaving that guy unblocked and then giving Chuba Hubbard the mandate, you have to keep this front side because if you cut back, there's going to be somebody there that is unblocked. And I could see a crease maybe if he wanted to keep it front side, if he would have forced it. But he cuts back and he gets tackled for a gain of 2. There's no world where that play was going to work the way it was executed. Third play action from the gun, shotgun, crosser from T-Mac. High pass, which happens. By the way, there was a high degree of difficulty throw. You have T-Mac with a guy on his back, meaning Teteroa McMillan, hauling his tail across the field on a deep crosser, and Bryce put it a place where his guy or no guy was going to catch it. You bring it down a foot, you bring it in front of him a foot, he probably makes the catch. McMillan tried to go for the highlight one-handed catch. I'm not sure he couldn't have gotten there with 2, which would have been the more fundamentally sound wide receiver coach way of going about things. But it was not an easy play by any stretch. Fourth play, right, because they got the extra on the penalty, which made it 1st and 5. Straight drop back out of the gun. It was a very simple concept. You have 2 crossers, high-low. You have one on the shallow, one on the dig, for those of you that have looked at a Madden playbook. Good read, good throw by Bryce. So quarterback did his job. Jatavian Sanders should have made the catch.
Went right through his hands. The only issue I have there, other than it probably should have been a completion on 3rd down for the first, is did they intentionally scheme up Sanders on Stingley Jr.? And then made that one of it's a high-low read. So there's 2 primaries, the guy across the middle and him on the dig. I just don't know if that's the one you, as a play caller, you're itching for. Is at the time that he signed it, the highest paid defensive back in history against a second-year speed tight end who doesn't have a ton of experience. So it's an interesting scheme if that's what you were going for, but then it worked, and the ball got there. He just has to make the catch. Yeah, just dropped it.
So that's the first drive. Not the most – you could say one of them was almost done well. Let's go to the second drive, shall we? First play action. Bryce keeps it and slides for 2. For this, I think me and everyone else was yelling, go! Go! If you're going to go, go! If we can assume that he was timid in his running style because it's preseason and he's just going, I don't want to get hurt, I don't want to take a big hit, fine, I guess. Let's move on to the next, because there was, we used to call it green grass. There was green grass in front of him. Probably should have picked up 6 or 7 yards. Ended up picking up 2 because he kind of timid and then slid. If that's just to protect in the preseason, fine. Second play, Chuba between the tackles, defensive front handled it. It gained 7. Not much doing there. They did not have to bring extra bodies into the box, or they didn't have to bring any extra run support up. They're just kind of handled by the front 7. Again, gain of 3. Third play, 3rd and 5, sack taken by Bryce. This one frustrated the heck out of me. If he throws on time, which he would have maybe had to go back foot because the pocket was collapsing, we'll get to that. I think he had Sanders over the middle for what would have been near a first down, at least giving you a decision on 4th. Decided not to take that one. Then the pocket collapses, and I emphasize again, didn't have to disperse any additional resources. It was just the 4-man front, and you got 5 offensive linemen. Bryce should be able to set up a campsite back there, and instead, pocket collapses, he's forced to escape, probably led to him missing Sanders over the middle. He escapes to the right, and once you get out of the pocket, playmakers in space, take it. And Rico Dowdle, their running back, who's a good pass catcher, is escaping to his right in front of him, right in his eye line, and would have had to maybe make a guy miss to get the first, but definitely would have gotten close. He's right in front of you. Once the play breaks down, Bryce, playmaker in space, get him the ball. He holds it, tries a little backspin on whoever that was. Daniel Hunter, I think it was.
Either that or Anderson, just try to pirouette out.
Yeah, tries to spin back, never really gets his eyes back downfield, ends up taking the sack. Below average decision, below average execution. Offensive line doesn't do a great job. We don't really know what was going on downfield, at least not by the TV copy that I was watching, other than those 2 guys that were open. Bryce looked indecisive. It's a play that screamed low confidence. Very little decisiveness. And I wrote down after watching them all, right? Rewind, play. Over and over again, I wrote down Bryce was below average with decisiveness. That was my main takeaway. The 2 throws that he threw in rhythm on time, I thought were his best throws, which were the both on the first drive, McMillan on the crosser, and then Sanders on 3rd down. But other than, and by the way, like one of those 2 was a drop. The other one would have been an incredible catch. It's rough when you go into the preseason, and everything about preseason for most teams says we are going to keep the basics of our playbook as options, and you struggle that mightily when, as far as new guys, it's McMillan and Dowdle. Everybody else was in the system last year, right? Granted, your offensive line wasn't your 5 starters, but it's guys that are around the playbook. You should be able to at least, the operation should be super clean. Super clean. So it was a very frustrating day for the offense. And they're not going to play in the preseason finale. The starters aren't. So that's your send-off. And it's the opposite of the Costanza, right? You tell a good joke. That's it, everybody. Good night. It's instead you tell, you walk up, you say, good evening. You tell your worst joke, and you walk off and go, that's all I need.
Curtains. Here we go.
Thank you. Hope you had a good time. Tip your waitresses. And you walk out. Nobody's gonna enjoy that comedy performance. And also, one more thing here. If Idzik was calling the plays, don't.
Yeah, but those first 10, 15 plays are scripted.
And that's traditionally how it is. I don't know if they would have done that in the preseason. They maybe some teams in the preseason, if you're only playing your starters a couple of series, will want to get like a mid-second feel, so they won't go straight to plays they already know. I would again say why if you're the Panthers, right? Build confidence, do whatever you need to look good, but we don't know that, right? I try to give the benefit of the doubt of all the we're not in team meetings before I rant and rave, which is why things like it could be one of these 3 bad things that happened. I wish there was a good option. Like I said, I went looking for the receiver that ran into the ref who wasn't in the right spot, so I could go, 2nd down that's nothing to do with them. The field was in bad shape. He slipped. I was looking for that, and instead I came out with, the bad thing that actually led to the loss, probably the bad play, not the loss, probably ended up preventing another bad thing from leading to a bad play. It's like if the ball would have gotten through, not intercepted by Stingley on the first play, it would have skipped into Xavier Legette. It's not like if Stingley wasn't there, it's a big completion. Like there were multiple bad things on most plays. And the ones where everybody did everything right, the receiver dropped the ball. Confidence, not high. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. You want to be about the details? You want to be about the specifics? You want to be about the basics? How about a mechanical watch, an automatic watch? I've been kind of like a missionary of sorts, going around and telling the tale of how cool it is to have an automatic watch on your wrist. No batteries, right? It is pure, unbelievable mechanics and precision on your wrist, which is a great reminder, right? Handle the things you're supposed to handle the right way, and you can be cranking along like a pre-owned or vintage Rolex from Fox & Bailey Watch Shop inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry. You can be cranking along like an Omega, the official timekeeper of the Olympics. You think they have to be pretty darn on point? You darn right they do. So if it's an Omega Speedmaster, NASA certified, an Aquaterra, a Seamaster, which you see a ton of at the Olympics, they are known for their precision. And also, it's pretty darn cool to think there's that much mechanics and gears and everything. All right, as you can tell, I'm very technical. Gears and everything on your wrist, keeping the time. It's a good reminder about how to live life. And that's life lessons from Tim as he talks about Bailey's Fine Jewelry in the Fox & Bailey Watch Shop, located in their Village District location of Bailey's Fine Jewelry. When you stop by to check out their selection, make sure you let them know you heard about it right here from me, Tim, on 99.9 The Fan. We'll take a break. We have the Dean's List coming up next, including a few former athletes from the state of North Carolina doing big things. Stick around.
Hello, I'm Jen, and I work in the service department with Newcomb & Company in the Triangle. I've worked at Newcomb & Company for over a decade and can tell you firsthand our comfort contract is hands down the best way to stay worry-free and comfortable in your home. In fact, the program works so well, we have over 4,000 customers who use it. Folks love it because when you sign up for the comfort contract, you get the best service Newcomb offers. We prioritize contract members with same-day service, priority scheduling, and emergency after-hours calls. So there's no waiting when your system needs help. On top of that, Newcomb & Company is a proud independent Trane dealer. We back exceptional Trane products with our expert service, and we treat your home like it's our own. It's hard to stop a Trane, and it's hard to beat Newcomb & Company service. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com to learn more about our comfort contract. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Progressive knows RV owners like to travel at a nice, relaxing pace. Just like this commercial. They're not rushing to a departure gate at the airport because they depart from their driveway. And they can relax even more knowing they're protected by Progressive. Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, everybody, Monday Sound Off is back. Took a couple months off from your reactions, getting your reactions, but it's back today. So we'll open up the phone lines. Heister Automotive Group hotline. This upcoming 420, about less than an hour, I should say. Almost 45 minutes from now. We'll open up the phone lines for your thoughts on whatever you want to talk about. If you have Panthers takes on how their preseason is going or not going. If you want to talk Belichick at UNC, everybody wants to talk Belichick at UNC, at least outside the market. That's become the number one question I get asked when talking to somebody not from here. How's the Belichick thing at UNC? It's kind of open-ended and vague, but they ask it. If you want to have that conversation, we're going to open up the phone lines. 919-860-5326. We'll open those up at around 4:15, 4:20. We'll let you know exactly when. But keep that phone number bookmarked. In the meantime, keep it tuned right here for the Dean's List. This is where we pass out a few extra accolades, give a little extra praise to those that deserve it, that are directly or indirectly related to the college sports world. I'll start with again, this is becoming almost a requirement when somebody gets named to a watch list or a preseason list from one of the schools in our area. They get a little hat tip, head nod on the Dean's List. Chandler Rivers, Duke cornerback, was named second-team AP All-American.
Oh, nice.
Second team, the only player from the Triangle that was honored as so.
I know he was second-team All-American by CBS Sports last week as well. I didn't see the AP list. Very cool.
Just came out today. Seems to be slotting into kind of that second team. But still, that means most All-American teams have 2 first-teamers and 2 second-teamers. That means Chandler Rivers is kind of unanimously one of the 4 best corners in the country going into this college football season, which is awesome. Congratulations to him. That's why he's on the Dean's List. Also, decent amount of pressure there, right? You got to go out there and live up to it now. You got to lock down wide receivers. You got to make plays, get your hands on the ball, because people are expecting you to be one of the 4 best corners in the country. Congrats to him. And that entire defense, right? Corners are very much, or can be very much, a product of what else they have on the defense. We'll go here next. Sanaya Rivers, former NC State women's basketball player, in her first season in the WNBA. She made history. Hat tip to Corey Smith for coming up with the stat. WNBA history on Sunday. She had 5 blocks against the Fever, the Indiana Fever, which made her the fastest guard ever in WNBA history to 30 career blocks. And she is on pace to become the second WNBA player ever with 100 or more blocks plus steals as a rookie. I know points are flashy and everybody loves the 3-ball. Breaking records for blocks and steals is just pure, I'm a better athlete than you. It's like, oh, you're taking shots and don't think I can get my hand on this? Watch this. Spring. Oh, you're making this pass thinking I can't deflect that and get out into the open court? Watch this. Speed. Pretty darn cool for Sanaya Rivers. And State fans that have been watching women's basketball, you've been up on it for a while, but she's a pretty darn good all-around player. Dennis, do you have some Dean's Listers or a Dean's Lister you'd like to throw out?
I actually have a few to throw in here.
I'd love to hear them.
So the World Lacrosse Junior Championships, so basically it's the under-20s, the equivalent like the World Juniors of hockey, but that's taking place in Korea right now. And there are actually a few guys from the Triangle that are actually participating. So, for example, Owen Duffy, an attackman from North Carolina, along with face-off man Brady Wambach from North Carolina participating in this as well. So they're competing in this. They just actually had a big 7-6 win against Canada the other day.
Take
also,
that, Canada.
That's right. Patrick Jamison from Duke, their goaltender, is actually part of the team as well. And also, Anthony Rayau. Anthony Rayau of North Carolina is a incoming freshman into North Carolina, and he's a midfielder playing on the U20 U.S. men's national team right now.
Wow. That happens at sometimes in the U19 basketball stuff where it's a whole bunch of the best freshmen in the country that last year were all Americans. Some of them might be going into the pros, and then there's one high school junior, and it's like, oh, that guy, he's gonna be good. Apparently, that guy, he's gonna be good for UNC. You said he's going to UNC lacrosse?
Yeah, going to UNC.
Good on you. Just for the experience there, the competition, the practices. Mm-hmm. Must be nice.
And those rosters are super limited, so you're playing.
Even better.
Yeah.
It's Anthony Davis on the Redeem team, just kind of there in the mix. No. Get out there and get playing.
Yeah, it's only 22 guys that make the team. So, yeah, you're playing.
That's cool. And they beat Canada.
Yeah, they did.
Take that. Do you have was that all the guys?
Yeah, it's all encompassing there.
I didn't want to finish things up for you. Former App State quarterback Joey Aguilar makes the Dean's List. He was named the starter at Tennessee.
Former UCLA quarterback Joey Aguilar?
He went from App State to Tennessee by way of UCLA. He was a part of the closest thing I've seen to a college football trade. So App State, he has his success there, hits the transfer portal, goes to UCLA. Then the much ballyhooed, highly talked about saga of Nico Iamaleava ends up him leaving Tennessee and going to UCLA. And then Aguilar goes from UCLA to Tennessee, so it was almost like a quarterback one-for-one swap. He's been named the starting quarterback at Tennessee. And the reason why you make the Dean's List for that is their offense is so quarterback-friendly. It is unbelievable how Josh Heupel is able to scheme everybody up there. Aguilar, if he's going to put together a great season and launch his celebrity and value into the stratosphere, Tennessee's about as good as you can do.
And Heupel, former college quarterback himself.
Yep, and some might say the brains behind the magic that Scott Frost had at UCF when Heupel was the OC and Scott Frost was the head coach when UCF went on all their undefeated stuff. Then Scott Frost is now going back to UCF after not working elsewhere, and Heupel is simply cranking out offenses at Tennessee.
And I'm sure for this case, for Heupel, it's like, what would I want? Let me just draw this up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, Heupel, I mean, he may have won the Heisman, or he was in the Heisman race with I think like a Winky year maybe. Mm-hmm. But still, Aguilar, that offense is so fun, and he's going to have a great time in it as long as he can keep that job. Last one here in the Dean's List. We'll end with this. We already talked about it a bit, but I wanted to give another hat tip. NC State men's and women's basketball. They'll be playing an exhibition in Greensboro, where the women early afternoon will play against Maryland. The men later in the afternoon, like 4:30, will play against South Carolina. It's in Greensboro. The reason I like it is sometimes you just need fan service, right? Go play in a college basketball feverish area, bring a pretty good game. You get the benefit of the crowd, so to get the game feel, they get the benefit of another college basketball game to go watch, and you get men's and women's on the same ticket, right? Tickets go on sale this Friday, but it is that's very like high school, right? Like JV before or women before and then varsity later. Like it's just a cool vibe, and everybody gets a really good afternoon of basketball. That's it for the Dean's List here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. A lot of those could have fit into our next segment as well, because we have winners and losers coming up here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly. But first, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here from my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I'm going to go ahead and chalk this one up for early winners and losers here. I've lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I'm a winner because I've lost, if you want to twist it that way. Guys, or you just people out there, if you are struggling with your weight like I have, or you've maybe bounced from one fad diet to the next, you definitely need to look into Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I'll give you the number here in just a little bit. But I can proudly say, again, I've lost 25 pounds in 3 weeks. And that's just the start. The program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center helps reset your metabolism in a natural way. No steroids, no shots. We're not doing HGH. Just you getting your body right and losing a half pound to a pound per day and doing it in a way where you can maintain that goal weight. It's frustrating when you feel like you've been doing all the right things with zero results. Trust me, I've been there. I've been through that for years. My body just doesn't react like it was when I was playing lacrosse in college 20 years ago. It's just different now. My body has changed. And this is the whole point of Raleigh Weight Loss Center. It's getting your metabolism restarted once again. But this is the lightest I've been in years. My clothes fit better. I have more energy during the day. And most importantly, I'm just sleeping a whole lot better as well. My resting heart rate is down. Everything has been getting so much better because of Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or give them a call, 919-897-7506. Again, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com, 919-897-7506. I'll give you the number one more time, 919-897-7506. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will tell you who won and who lost the last week in sports. Stick around.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles.
Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's Bo time.
There's no time like Bo time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Longer days mean longer rides. Make sure your bike, your ATV, your side-by-side, even your golf cart are the best around. From sound station and security, we've got custom stereo systems, custom speakers, even video and LED lighting options for your bike, your ATV, and even your golf cart. Look the coolest on the road or at the lake, just tooling around. All available with installation from sound station and security, with 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We want to hear from you. We'll open up the phone lines 420 for a little Monday sound off. That's where you get to call in and ask whatever you want to ask, talk about whatever you want to talk about, make whatever statement you want to make. We want to hear from the listeners. You can save the phone number now, Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. We'll open up at about 4:20. We'll let you know exactly when, but Monday sound off, or you get to sound off, is coming up next hour. Right now, winners and losers.
This team will never lose again.
Is where we name our winners and losers of the last week. Who won more in aura or lost more in vibes than they did on the scoreboard, right? It's more than just, this team scored more points. It's more of a gut feeling. I'll start with a winner and a loser. Starting with the winner, Joe Flacco and the Delaware Blue Hens, baby. Joe Flacco named the starter for the Browns. And for those of you that got jokes, yes, it is still a winner to be the starter, even when it's the Cleveland Browns.
I did see someone post he's going to start week 1 against the Bengals, much like he did when he started week 1 against the Bengals in 2008.
Yeah. I mean,
it's kind of
recruiting class of 2003 stand up. Still out there making it happen. But also his contract, every per game he's active, he gets $59,000. If he's active in the final regular season game, $250,000. Every team win, starting with the 4th team win, if he plays 50% of the snaps, $75,000. If he plays 60% of the snaps on the season, $500,000. 70%, $1 million. 80%, $1.5 million.
He might be the only healthy quarterback they have.
Hey, if he's the only one, then a lot of those snap percentages are going to hit. So winner, Joe Flacco. Loser, the NCAA's ability to punish.
They're talking about Michigan?
Seeing their punishment against Michigan shows that the NCAA has absolutely no bite to their bark. They can't enforce postseason bans because they said they feel that punishes current players for the actions of those that aren't there anymore. They gave a 10-year ban, show cause ban, to Jim Harbaugh, who, by the way, already left. You can't fire me, I quit. No scholarship reductions. Do you know why? Because those aren't a thing. Like, scholarship limits aren't a thing. They have roster limits, and the committee that does the punishment said, we don't even know if we're allowed to limit roster spots. We haven't been told by the governing bodies yet, so can't do that. No vacated wins, so they still get to keep their national championship. They did get a bunch of fines. They got fines. If you were to be banned from the postseason, estimate how much it would have cost, and you pay that fine is essentially like came out to they're estimating around $20 million.
Yeah, plus 10% of their operating budget. So, but yeah, we're looking at close to $30 million.
They pay their quarterback like $5 million. Who cares about money for Michigan football? Yeah. Larry Ellison is one of their backers because apparently his wife went to Michigan. They don't care about money.
So it basically cost them $30 million to win a national championship.
And they made way more than $30 million by winning a national championship.
Yep.
The NCAA is just like, I don't know, we can't do anything. What do you want us to do? Used to happen in like if you're like a camp counselor or something, teacher comes up like, that kid did this, you got to do something. You're like, who do you think I am? I'm a camp counselor. I have no authority over that child. What do you... They paid the same thing. They're going to be in the football drills, lady. Sorry, there's nothing I can do here. Got to go talk to somebody a higher pay grade. That's the NCAA right now. Michigan cheated, and it's the reason they won a national championship. They should be punished. Who do you think I am here? Go talk to Notre Dame's athletic director. Maybe that guy has the power to do something. Go talk to whoever runs ESPN or CBS. Maybe they have some power. I don't have any. Do you have a winner or loser, Dennis?
My winner, Scotty Scheffler.
Hey.
Because he won the BMW this weekend. Loser, anyone not named Scotty Scheffler that's trying to compete right now, because it's funny seeing the videos. I think it was with the 17th hole, I think, when he chipped in that long chip for a birdie.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing like the other golfers standing there just kind of like, what's the point? Like, why am I even trying to compete with this right now?
I saw somebody on Twitter, and I apologize, I don't remember who.
It's a race for second. That
said, here's every conversation about the Scotty Scheffler chip-in. Oh, man, this is such a tough shot. It's a tough lie. The green's going away from him to the water. I mean, this is – I don't know what he's going to do here. He makes it, and then you go, but he's the best player in the world. And you know, it's just different for him than everyone else right now. He's the best player in the world. Scotty Scheffler is really good. And do you know what? I do it every time. I'm in certain golf pools, and, you know, you gamble, you pick your guys. You have somebody in, like, the top 5 going into Sunday, and you talk yourself into there's a chance here. Even though Scotty Scheffler is in the mix, and you should just resign to maybe they'll get second. Just be pleased with that, because you ain't getting first when Scotty's on. Loser, this is a either or. This is Brad Idzik or whoever's calling the plays for the offense on the Carolina Panthers. Whoever designed them up if they were scripted, whoever made the calls in the moment if they weren't, because there was zero room for success in a lot of ways for the offense. So just, I wanted to throw that out there. And oh, by the way, after the starters came out, it's not like the second and third unit for the Panthers lit it up. They eventually got a field goal. Congrats. Winner? Girls flag football. Hat tip to the high school OT guys. Go check out highschoolot.com. They cover high school sports in the state of North Carolina, as well as anybody. According to High School OT, the National Federation of State High School Associations has reported high school athletics participation increased by nearly 200,000 athletes this past year, the 2024-2025 season. Continuing upward trajectory since the pandemic and all these other things. The biggest gains were in girls sports, with flag football leading the way. Girls flag football. The girls are getting in on how awesome football is. Let's go. My 6-month-old daughter. Oh, let's go. I'm out there teaching route concepts. 3 years old. Now, actually, I do think girls flag football looks like, I saw some stuff on ESPN. They're out there balling. Growing sport. Love to see it. By the way, I'm a fan of just all youth sports growing. I don't care which sport it is. I think there are lessons learned in team sports that are awesome. All right, I've got I actually just have 2 more losers here, so we'll just round it with 2 more losers. I I don't like that.
That's what it is.
I don't like being pessimistic like that, but I did it unintentionally. Loser, Associated Press All-American voters. Justin Jolie, not named preseason first or second team by the AP voters, tight end out of NC State. The leaders, or I should say the first team All-American, Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt, fifth-year senior. Second-teamer Max Clare, apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, fourth year from Ohio State. I always think about how these preseason lists will look later on in the year. I think it's going to look not great that Justin Jolie is not an All-American. So the voters didn't get it right, in my opinion. Although Stowers and Clare might be awesome, I just think Jolie's deserving, and I've seen him on other All-American lists. And the last loser here for winners and losers, 2023 Panthers wide receiver room. I'm going to go over some things. I'm going to go over 3 things, or 4 actually.
All right.
Just in the last week that were not great for 2023 Panthers wide receivers. DJ Chark was cut by the Falcons.
Yeah.
So he's a free agent looking for work. Jonathan Mingo didn't finish the Cowboys game with a knee injury. Last I heard, he was getting imaging done to find out if the PCL is an issue in the knee. The Eagles traded for John Mechie from the Texans, which probably ends Terrace Marshall's dream in Philly. That's just kind of more depth wide receiver to knock him down. And then Laviska Shenault is on the Bills. And I've been watching the Hard Knocks behind the scenes documentary, and I haven't supposed to be that's when the guys who are trying to make the roster and be the special teamers, that's where they're supposed to be the stars. Laviska Shenault barely in it. And I did some more Googling. Damiere Byrd, free agent. And then there's Adam Thielen. So I guess Adam Thielen is he's the holdover, right? He's the one like, what's going on here, guys? But that does go to show you, right? If the wide receivers room from 2023 for the Panthers has all that bad happening now, it does show you what Bryce Young was dealing with his rookie year. You mix in a play caller change every 2 seconds and an offensive line that wasn't great as well. It just goes to show you how tough things were on that, how uphill it was for the rookie quarterback. Oh, I do have a winner. Yes.
Okay, so I had a winner if you needed one.
Okay, go ahead with yours. I like ending with back-to-back wins.
Okay, Jacob Slavin voted as one of the top 10 defensemen in the entire NHL, according to NHL.com.
Very solid.
8th overall.
8th. Are we happy by that? It's better than I've seen elsewhere. I'll give him that. So they're at least not the worst of the rankers. I still think there's upward mobility there for old Slavin. But I'll give you this. Spent the weekend at the beach with my wife's family. Mm-hmm. A bunch of them are from outside DC. Huge Caps fans. After the playoff series,
that sucks.
Yeah, they're nice guys anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But they did go, we had no idea how good Slavin is.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, so how are they? How is the optimism for the Panthers? Oh, has it been covering the Canes? And then they both got like real serious looks on their face, and they were like, we had no clue that Jacob Slavin. I was like, yep. Most of America had that same feeling at like the four nations, but you got there eventually. Good, there you go. And my last winner here to round out the hour, Bryce Love. Local guy.
Yeah.
The running back had 2,000 yards at Stanford following up Christian McCaffrey. Injuries kind of limited his pro career. And then he bounced around doing some venture capital stuff, maybe medical school for a little bit. But he's joining the ACC Network as studio analyst.
Oh, nice.
So ACC Network studio team, this comes from the press release, expands with new additions. Ready for this? Dave Clawson. The former Wake Forest head coach, 2021 ACC Coach of the Year, and Bryce Love, former Stanford running back and 2017 Heisman Trophy runner-up. He's from Wake Forest, by the way.
He is.
So that's why he makes it kind of in our area. And he'll be joining Mark Richt and Tom Luganbill, both of them will, in the ACC Network's Bristol studio, alongside Kelsey Riggs. Kelsey Riggs Cuff. Added the cuff to her name there, so I got to get used to saying that more smoothly. They'll be kind of the Friday evening, Saturday studio lineup crew. So shout out to both Dave Clawson and Bryce Love for getting into the media thing on the ACC Network.
I can't wait to see Dave Clawson on television. That's just
I think
the saltiness.
I think they need to run more slow mesh.
The saltiness.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is winners and losers. We have football at 4 coming up, where the Panthers have been linked by a usually reliable national media source to a possible Trey Hendrickson trade. Will the NFL's leading sack artist from a season ago be joining Carolina? Gosh, I hope not. Next.
Sports can be unpredictable. Your elevator shouldn't be. That's why you need Metro Elevator, Raleigh's hometown team for expert commercial elevator service. Locally owned and operated, we specialize in keeping your building moving with top-tier repair, maintenance, modernization, and installation. Our highly trained technicians deliver fast, responsive service to ensure your elevators run smoothly. No surprises, just results. Trust Raleigh's own Metro Elevator to keep you moving. Learn more at metro-elevator.com/Raleigh.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Your fantasy draft is here. The Smack Talk is starting, and this season, ESPN Bet is giving you more ways to ride with your squad. Introducing ESPN Bet Fan Center, where you can instantly link and bet on your fantasy teams right in the ESPN Bet app. An enhanced sports betting experience only from ESPN Bet, the sports book for sports fans. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a hot and sticky afternoon out there. A high of 92, feeling more like upper 90s with the heat index. A small chance for thunderstorms, and overnight we drop back to 72. Tomorrow is slightly cooler. We'll see highs in the upper 80s with a small chance for thunderstorms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 34 points to 44,912.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
It is time for football at 4, and I have a feeling some of you may want to sound off on Trey Hendrickson potentially being traded to the Carolina Panthers. If you do, we'll be opening up the phone lines in about 15, 20 minutes here for your takes. We want to hear them. If you think they should or should absolutely not, or anywhere in between, trade for Trey Hendrickson, or anything else in sports you want to talk about, the Heister Automotive Group hotline will be open for your use. Hear your voice live on radio. Coming up in just a few minutes here. The phone number to remember, 919-860-5326. Jordan Schultz, NFL insider, mentioned 3 teams when it comes to Trey Hendrickson and a possible trade. Okay? Trey Hendrickson is, for reference, a late bloomer in the NFL, but is he led the NFL in sacks last year, and that's a stat that most people care about, right? That is a stat that most teams and fans would be excited to have the leader in that particular stat on their team. So, as I bring up the tweet here, a lot of stuff going on today. The Panthers, Browns, and Colts were listed by him among the teams that have shown interest in trading for Bengals All-Pro Trey Hendrickson, per multiple sources. He adds that a in-division and in-state trade is highly unlikely, so the Browns would be battling uphill for Trey Hendrickson. But that leaves Panthers and Colts. Cincinnati is believed to want an impact player or two plus a draft pick in return, according to Schultz. So the question quickly turns to, should the Panthers do it? Should they give up a potential impact player or two and draft picks for the honor to pay Trey Hendrickson, I will conservatively say $35 million a year? Because he is holding out from the Bengals for a new contract, so he's not going to agree to go somewhere else to play for pennies, right? You're going to have to trade for him and then pay him. This is where I wish, and I will here because I can. I answer that question with a question of my own. Should the Panthers do it? My question is, what changed? All offseason, they avoided the high-priced veteran players. They did not go after the big price tag, big splashy signings. They didn't do it. They brought in mostly younger guys, right? They brought in mostly even guys like Trevon Merrick, right? Even guys like Tershawn Wharton, guys that they brought in and paid a decent amount of money are still like mid-20s, right? Even if they've played through their rookie contracts, they're not in those ages that start with threes that are so scary. It doesn't happen very often that a 30-plus-year-old gets traded for, say, a first-round pick plus. It doesn't happen that often. So what changed? This whole offseason, you've been building with young players. You've been building with kind of the financially responsible deals. Big deals, but not necessarily record-breaking deals. What changed that would make this one an option? Can we hypothesize on some things that changed? Let's do it. Did someone get it way wrong with some of the players on the roster? Right? Is there a moment in practice where you were watching going, uh-oh, these guys that we were going to be depending on to be our pass rush, I don't know, we want to be dependent on those guys to get our pass rush started, so we better go, even if we have to overspend, get a guy that we can depend on, and that would absolutely be Trey Hendrickson, which would be a bummer. That would be I appreciate acknowledging your mistakes, right? That would be kind of a humble thing to do rather than to just be stubborn and say, no, my analytics say this guy's going to be good. He's going to be good. If you see it, you know it's not good enough, you go fix it. That's I would say better than the reverse of seeing it, knowing it's not good enough and not doing anything. But it would still be a bummer that you missed. Another thing that could change, and this is what I really hope isn't happening. Did someone get a potential update on their job security that makes it more likely that they need to win now? So it's suddenly, who cares if they're young? Who cares if they're good 3 years from now? Who cares if this contract looks bad 3-4 years into the future? Who cares? I might not even be here. We need to win this year for me to have a chance. So let's win this year and figure out the future when it needs to be figured out. Right? All offseason, you think you got, maybe 2 more years to rebuild and slowly build everything. You get a little update, and suddenly it's like, you know what? What veterans? How much would Terry McLaurin be? Where's Hendrickson? Would Dallas take like 1/3 of Carolina's gross domestic product in order for Micah Parsons to have let's crank this bad boy up? Did that happen? Or here's option number 3, and this would be the sometimes the simplest answer is right under your nose is the right answer. Is this report simply just Dan Morgan calling and exploring the market, and it's being built up as more?
I feel like option 3.
Is it just, hey, Hendrickson, huh? So how bad is your relationship?
Yeah. What would it cost to get Trey?
Because, 4th rounder? No, all right, that's cool. And then all of a sudden Jordan Schultz hears, Dan Morgan called. Boom, put him up there. Colts, boom, Browns, boom, Panthers, send, right? It's these insider leaks are always, I always say consider the source. It's an insider, right, which means somebody told him, right? This is not coming from the team or an agent, which could be like a first-person source. This is an insider, so somebody passed along that information. Who does that report benefit? Well, the Bengals, right? Anybody that might have to trade Trey Hendrickson wants to make sure everybody knows that, say, the Colts aren't the only caller, right? If the Browns are the only one honestly calling, what should you do? Well, you leak that a few other teams are calling and that it's going to be way more difficult for the Browns to make the trade happen because they're going to pay extra because it's in state, right? They like consider the source. So this could easily be, yeah, Dan Morgan called. Maybe Dan Morgan's been talking with Eric Tulsky of the Carolina Hurricanes, whose like rule is I'm going to be in on every conversation.
Yeah.
I'm calling. I'm a stage 5 clinger. I'm calling every GM once a day just to say, like, you got anything in the mix? What about this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy? Maybe Dan Morgan's been talking to him, so he's like, oh, Hendrickson's on the market. I should call and get in the conversation. Maybe they need somebody to toss in a third for a player that we like. Just to orchestrate the deal, get the wheels flowing.
Never hurts to ask.
Maybe that's it, right? Because the first two get me very, very scared.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're looking at your pass rush, which, by the way, I think we gave Dan Morgan a lot of credit. He was patient, and he appeared, or at least sounded to us, and we talked to him about it on this show, sound like he played the draft board great, right? He really wanted a player like Nick Scorton or Princely Umanmielen and ended up getting both, right? So he picked the right one, waited on the right one, didn't take the guy in the first round, got his wide receiver, still got two. Like, it looked like he kind of solved the pass rush, went and got, was it Patrick Smith, right? Am I doing
Pat
that wrong?
Jones?
Pat Jones. Why do I keep doing that?
I don't know.
Just the generic last name. Could have been Jones, Smith, Carter, Williams. Anyway, went and got guys that he seemed to intentionally go after, right? He was made a couple moves very early in free agency, which tells me like position A. And then he went and got two guys that he seemed to like in the draft. If now he's looking at his edge rushers and going, that guy didn't pan out like I wanted. That guy hasn't been as advertised in practice. That guy might be more of a depth piece. We need to go get somebody. That's how you end up overpaying for a player who doesn't fit your build. And then the opposite, if somebody hinted that job security's on the line and they need to go get win now players to make sure, hey, if we get 7 wins instead of 9, we lose our jobs. That's not the right way to handle a roster either, because then you're giving up future assets that you shouldn't in order to scrape together another win or two. And I don't think they're there yet.
Oh, you mean like Scott Fitterer?
Yes, exactly.
Pretty much what it is. And now here's the thing about that potential trade, or at least what reportedly is being asked for by Cincinnati for Trey Hendrickson. Picks along with a player that can play right now and a young one. The Panthers defensively don't have a lot of people expendable from their defense as is. So if you give up one of your better defensive players, I mean, it might just be a net negative, in all honesty, because, okay, you bring back Trey Hendrickson, but do you have to give up Umanmielen? Do you have to give up Nick Scorton? Do you have to give up a Trayvon Merrick? So what is the end? Like, what's the end result? It's not like you have a plethora of players that we can afford to give up 2 good ones to get a great one in return. This team can't afford that.
The way I would guess the trade would be formatted would be either a first or a second and a fourth, right? Like something along those lines, plus probably Nick Scorton if his collapsed lung comes through,
yeah,
and then maybe even a depth piece from your offense, right? Maybe I don't know, an offensive lineman that has played, maybe a Cade Mays, something along those lines, and that's a hefty price tag, but you'd be betting that the gap between Nick Scorton to Trey Hendrickson is not 3 sacks, right? It's 10. You know what I mean? That's what you'd be betting on. I don't think you should do it because it goes against everything that I feel is true as a roster build. You build for windows. Trey Hendrickson will, in his 30s, will be on the very tail end of his effectiveness and of his contract by the time you're ready to chase rings. And Hendrickson is the kind of guy that you get when you are a Trey Hendrickson away from chasing rings.
Like Buffalo should go get Trey Hendrickson.
Buffalo could go get Trey Hendrickson.
Washington
would be interesting to go get Trey Hendrickson. Maybe one of their young players could be Brian Robinson, who they're shopping. There's options there. There's a few different teams that I think it makes sense. I'm not saying don't get Trey Hendrickson because he's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying don't get Trey Hendrickson because it doesn't make sense for you to condense assets right now. You've got a lot of holes in your roster. Don't take 4 potential solutions for holes and turn them into one really good solution. As I hit the microphone.
Yeah.
One really good solution for a gap in your roster. And then also, actually, it'd probably be more than, it'd be like a couple picks, couple players, plus the money that you could go spend on in free agency later. It might be like 6 gap fillers in your roster for one really good one. It's just you're not to that point yet. You're way more than one player away. But I respect the call if it was just a call. I respect the earnestness to be in the mix. I like that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That was a little football at 4. We will open up the phone lines right now. Monday sound off, 919-860-5326. Would you like the Panthers to trade for Trey Hendrickson? How terrified are you after the preseason game 2 for the Carolina Panthers offense? With an offseason of Bill Belichick, are you stoked for UNC or scared for UNC? Duke football, they got All-Americans. Brian Parker Jr., or the second, I should say. Chandler Rivers, how good are they going to be? Whatever you want to talk about. Caleb Wilson got paid, UNC, by New Balance. Whatever you want to talk about, the phone lines are open, or national sports, doesn't have to be local. 919-860-5326. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for you. Call in now. We'll hear from a bunch of you coming up next.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. We're in the preseason, so me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, are back in the trenches with our podcast, Panthers Playbook. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on Panthers news as training camp rolls forward. Insight on the rookies, the fresh free agents and surprises, plus all the insider info on the upcoming season. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And you know, we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Adventure awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The phone lines are open, everybody. It is a Monday sound off. Have not done it in a while, but I look forward to hearing from all of you. We want to hear what teams you're high on this year, what teams you're scared about, what players, college basketball, football, whatever you want to talk about, we want to hear it. It is truly where you get to sound off. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326. We will start with Brody in Raleigh. Brody, welcome to the show. Happy to have you. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, Tim. I want to sound off on the Washington Commanders for not getting this Perry extension done. There might be a little bias here, but you got your star player. He's got to know the playbook. He's got to be around the team. And especially with a young quarterback like Jaden Daniels, I think they got to get this done so he can get rolling for the season here.
I spent some time with some Washington fans over the weekend, as I said. Have you changed your opinion of Terry at all? Because Terry had maybe the highest approval rating in Washington, D.C. No, I mean, politics, whatever. But, like, of everybody that lived in D.C., it seemed like Washington loved that guy the most. Have you soured on him at all with this?
I think I was all good until the trade request, which I'm sure is all business related. But at the same time, he's been the cornerstone of the franchise from even the rough times before. I've been a fan for a while, and I've never seen as much publicity on the team as I have now. I just really want to get him back around the team here.
All right, Brody. Appreciate the call. I'll voice a few more comments on it, but thank you very much. Call back in anytime. As Panther fans out there, doesn't the Terry McLaurin situation make you feel like Washington doesn't know what it has? It's like, wait a second, you have a young quarterback that was great from the jump, and you gave him a good wide receiver who leveled up as soon as he got there, and you're messing with that? You realize how precious what you have is? I feel like Billy Madison. Cherish it. Sean in Northern Virginia next up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. You can call in as well, 919-860-5326 on a Monday sound off. Sean in Northern Virginia, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, how's it going, Tim? First of all, I appreciate you. I listen to your show every day as I drive up and down 95.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And that goes into kind of why I wanted to call. So I pay for Red Zone. I pay for Sunday Ticket, all the stuff living up here in D.C., and I've been doing it for the last 13 years. And this is probably the worst product I've ever paid for. Your show's free, and it's awesome. It's really frustrating whenever I have to, shell out all this money, and I don't feel like the Carolina Panthers are giving us any of that back. And I really felt that Saturday when Dave decided not to throw out the starters on a third series. It's really frustrating coming from a guy that's been around for a minute.
And let me ask you this: you brought up the third series, right? The plan going in appeared to be that the starters were going to play 3 series. They did very poor on their first 2, and they weren't even put out for the third series. I'm going to ask this question later on, kind of internally, but I'll pose it to you first. Did it come across almost as scared from Dave Canales, like he was worried he would put him out there and they would again go 3 and out? So why give them the chance?
That's kind of how I felt. That's how I felt last year whenever we didn't see the starters. I mean, why? We've got Patrick Mahomes playing, Joe Burrow playing. We've got a lot of great quarterbacks out here playing these preseason games. But I know they don't matter, right? We can talk about it, but it does matter that there seems to be a lack of effort amongst the team. I didn't see any real frustration. Exactly what you're talking about earlier too. What's Bryce doing? He's just. You got Rico right there on that, second or third down. Toss it to him. They'll take the sack, man.
I appreciate it, Sean.
That's just where I'm at.
Thank you very much for making us a part of your routine up and down 95, and thank you very much for calling in. Call back in anytime. It's really hard to argue with it, right? When you talk to longtime fans and they talk about how their hope is just dwindling year over year, it's really hard to counter. The counter I always give is I do, and it's the bare minimum, but I do think everybody in the Panthers organization, top down, and this includes David Tepper, wants to win. I think they're trying their best. They're just not figuring it out, or at least they haven't yet, right? This year is still obviously very young, but it's better than some baseball teams and things where you can't say that, right? It seems like they are maybe content to just cash checks and lose, and maybe even that's the goal of some of these baseball teams. I do think in the Panthers organization, top down, they want to win. So, right, it's easier to kind of put your head on the pillow at night without regrets if you're at least rooting for a team that wants to win. That's all right. We're good. We just had some internal note stuff happen. All the callers just disappeared. But we're back now. It is the Heister Automotive Group hotline here on 99.9 The Fan. We have it open for a Monday sound off. We want to hear from you. Get something off your chest, positive or negative. Doesn't have to be a complaint. Sometimes Monday sound off feels like you got to yell and scream. You can praise and cheer as well. We'll go to Robert in Raleigh. Wants to talk college football on a Monday sound off. Robert, thank you for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, how you doing? This is the Robert from Raleigh, so I'm going to stick it to the ACC, but I do want to say a couple Sundays ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, I work Saturday, Sunday, get out of work on a Sunday. I'm going home. And, it must be the best of the drive with Tim Donnelly, but you were on the national show.
I was. Thank you very much for listening.
Pretty awesome. The best your co-host could do was cheerlead you. I mean, you carried the show, and I appreciated that.
Thank you, Robert.
Listening here. I'm going to do this the way only I can do this. I want to go Wake Forest. My top 2 transfers into the ACC this year, Langston Hardy to Wake Forest, linebacker. Okay. Duke fans will remember him running back a 69-yard interception last year for a touchdown.
Okay.
I'm going to go Bryce Yates to UNC. And I want to set the number at 18.5. That combo sacks, and he's a tackle for loss machine with Robert Diaco as the defensive line coach, who I had the privilege of meeting this summer. He was surprised I recognized him. Of course I recognize him. As Robert Diaco as the defensive line coach, Bryce Yates, 18.5 is the combo for sacks and tackles for loss. He did that a couple seasons ago. Last year he had a banged-up year.
Robert, I'm now connecting the dots here. Was your biggest transfer incoming last year Justin Jolie to NC State?
Yes.
Okay.
But these are look, this Bryce Yates, I'm telling you, 18.5, and you got to go over. Over would be minus 550.
All right.
The guy's going to go over 550.
All right. Robert, hey, absolutely appreciate you for calling in. I'm going to explain to everybody what's going on here because they're on the outside of an inside joke right now. But you can call in anytime, and thank you very much for the kind words earlier. So Robert is a caller. I would call him like a ninja. Robert calls in and lets us know he wants to talk about something specific, kind of local ties, and then it always comes back to him talking about UConn. This is Robert, who is a massive UConn football, basketball fan. So his incoming transfers, Langston Hardy going to Wake Forest. Where did he spend his last 2 years? UConn. Bryce Yates at UNC, edge rusher extraordinaire. Where does he transfer into UNC from? UConn. Why did I ask? Is like a test there. Who his big transfer last year would have been? Justin Jolie. Where would he have been coming in from? UConn. Listen, I got a buddy on the UConn staff. They're pouring a lot of money into football. They're cranking out some good players, and if they want to keep sending them to the ACC, I will not complain. UConn also plays a heavy ACC schedule, which maybe that's something to deter guys from doing that. It's like you keep playing in the ACC, so on all their scouting tape, they keep watching you against their upcoming opponents, and then they go, that guy's pretty good. We should go get him in the transfer portal. But hey, I want them both to do really well for Wake Forest and UNC. Shout out to Robert. By the way, Heister Automotive Group hotline open for whatever you want to talk about. It is a Monday sound off, 919-860-5326. The lines were completely full a few minutes ago. A couple spots have opened up, so if you called in and couldn't get through, 919-860-5326. Your chances of getting in right now onto the show much better. Waiting patiently has been Tom in Willow Springs. Wants to sound off on the Panthers. We'll welcome that. Tom, go ahead and sound off.
Hey, yeah, I'm just sounding off. I wanted to temper everybody's expectations, man. The Panthers are going to be terrible again. And the main reason is Bryce. He's never going to be a good NFL quarterback. And if you look at what we've done the last 2 years, we've mortgaged the defense. People, I get comments online, oh, well, he doesn't play defense. Well, the guys we've traded, let go, the draft picks we could have made, but we're taking wide receivers in the first round every year because Bryce needs more help. Meanwhile, teams in our own division like Atlanta are picking 2 of the top edge rushers in the first round. And we're going with a receiver and then getting the second or third tier guys for the defense. And nothing's going to get fixed until we make a move and get a new quarterback, man.
Okay, let me just one tiny follow-up here. To what do you attribute the last month of the season last year? Because it definitely stands out for Bryce as far as level of play. As far as you're so confident that he's not the guy, how do you explain that last month?
I explain it as, first off, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. Anybody can, get hot for 1 or 2 games, but especially at the end of the season, Atlanta, most of those games were overblown. The Kansas City game and Philly game and all that, it's not like Bryce was lighting it up. He didn't play as terrible as he was earlier in the year. Most of his stats from the end of the year that padded up was that Atlanta game, who had one of the worst defenses in the league in the very last game of the season. And that's what I mean. People take that, and all of a sudden they forget what they've seen for the last 2 years. And I'm a guy that's been saying Bryce ain't it since college. So none of this stuff surprises me.
Tom,
he's average, athletic, average, or below average in every skill of quarterbacking. You know, some of these short guys, Kyler Murray can make it. He's got a Major League Baseball pitcher's arm, a top 10 pick. You know, Drew Brees is one of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time. Bryce isn't special at anything. He's average or below average in every aspect of quarterbacking, and he's a midget. I mean, it is what it is.
Tom, appreciate the call. We got to let you go on that one, but thank you very much for calling in. Listen, I've waxed poetic about Bryce a ton. I am very much on the slow your roll on everybody that's assumed his play was fixed and he's due for a gigantic season. And some of the over-unders I think are kind of aggressive because, I need to see it for a season before I get excited, not, a couple of games. But Dennis, I'll throw this one your way. How do you react to Tom? You're a co-host of the Panthers Playbook podcast. Tom, pretty dead set on Bryce being a part of the problem. How do you, or maybe the problem? How do you decipher that one?
I would say this. He's not wrong about the inflation of stats being aided by that Atlanta game. Because let's keep in mind, the defense was so bad that the offense had to go out there and continue to score because both those defenses stunk in that game. So if you look at the last 10 starts for Bryce Young when he came back after Andy Dalton had the car accident and had the wrist injury, in those 10 starts, he accounted for 20 touchdowns, 15 passing, 5 rushing. 1/4 of those came in that last game.
There you go.
Like 1/4 of those came in that last game. So among the other 9 games, he accounted for 15 touchdowns.
You make stats say whatever you want them to
Exactly.
say.
So again, expectations for me for Bryce this season, to me, it's make or break. It really
absolutely.
is. Are you the last 6 games that we saw, or are you the collective of what we've seen so far?
And it was a really good point made by Tom about how they've mortgaged the defense.
Yes.
I think that's the smart thing to do. Right? Once you get your young quarterback, you give them all of the resources you possibly can, and if they can't figure it out, you can move on with certainty. They gave a lot of resources, draft picks, free agency, if he can't make it work, then yeah, you're gonna move on, and you're gonna do so confidently, and you hope that it's not another Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold situation where they go elsewhere and are really good because you didn't give them everything they needed here. So you try to eliminate that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a Monday sound off. That was a good one from Tom. Tom came with some heat. If you want to sound off on anything, doesn't have to be Panthers. If it is, great. College sports, pro, out-of-market teams. You want to sound off on Miami Dolphins, something along those lines. I don't know why the Dolphins were my example of a random NFL team.
We have a Dolphins fan that listens.
Yeah, if you want to call in on the Dolphins or any other team, feel free. Heister Automotive Group hotline open, 919-860-5326. We go to Jeff in Raleigh next on a Monday Sound Off. Jeff, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing very well. Hopefully you are as well. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm just, like I was telling Dennis, I'm tired of this microwave. Everything is got to happen right now. Even that last caller. I mean, this is Panthers have one of the worst rosters in the league. They're making steps. Maybe Bryce isn't the answer. But, again, it's not just them. It's Dallas with Micah and Cincinnati with Hutchinson. All these people, I'm tired of hearing about it. And do not give Jared Jones a platform. He does this every year. Quit talking about him, and he'll go away. And ESPN said that the other day, and then they talked a half an hour that day, and since they said they're done with it, they're not giving him a platform, they've talked about him more every day since then, like an hour and a half, and now they've added Hutchinson. Let Cincinnati and Dallas deal with their whatever function, whether it's well funded or not. I'm just tired of hearing about it. Let them deal with it. No, but I'm a Steeler fan and a Panther fan. I don't care about Cowboys or Bengals. I hope the Bengals
So actually,
never win another game.
So hold on. So let me go back to. I'll ask one follow up here. There's a lot to take in there, but going back to the Bryce microwave, want everything to work right now. How long is the appropriate time to wait for a quarterback? Say you draft a guy near the top of the first round. How many years do you give him before you would be able to say maybe this dude doesn't have it? We need to move on and try something new.
This is the year.
Okay, so you give him 3 years.
Yeah, I mean he's not above reproach. He is always. They made a bad decision getting him. They may be able to circumvent that, but maybe not. This would be the year to go get a new quarterback.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much for calling in. There's a lot I agree with there, and I appreciate it. Heaster Automotive Group hotline open for a Monday sound-off. You can call in, just like Jeff did, to get some things off your chest. Football-related, basketball, whatever you're looking for. It's a sound-off because you guys get to sound off on what you want to talk about. 919-860-5326 is the Heaster Automotive Group hotline open for your use. 919-860-5326. I have to admit, my follow-up question, I was expecting something crazy from Jeff. When I said, how long do you give a quarterback, I thought he was going to say like 6 years. 3, I think is fair when you draft somebody that high. And that's based off of the investment, right? If you draft a guy with a top 5 pick, you owe it to yourself to see it through. 3 years to me is enough of a – you can eliminate everything, right? Okay, it's not about being rookie nerves. It's not about the supporting cast if you're continuously working to build the supporting cast. It's not about, not vibing with the head coach, right? It's not about figuring out what it's like to be a pro. Like by 3 years, to me, you have enough of a sample size to make a hard and fast decision. And I say that often, right? Like people talk about, if you got a few callers have referenced some of my work on the ESPN National Network, one of the questions that was posed to me there was, if Caleb Williams doesn't play well this year, should the Bears move on? And I basically went, no. No. You get 3 years when you're drafted that high. You just do. You just do. Anthony Richardson might be starting week 1. He's been way worse than anything Caleb Williams has done, even if he's bad this year. Bryce Young is still starting week 1. He's been way worse than Caleb Williams through their rookie years. There's like if you're drafted that highly, you simply get 3 years. And it's kind of a fool's errand. Unless you're so bad that you draft super high again and you get kind of Kyler Murray, Josh Rosen. But you got to be a special. I think that was more personality than anything with Josh Rosen. There's an outlier to every rule, but you get 3 years. If you're working hard, you're trying hard, you're changing coaches, you get 3 years. It's just kind of the rule.
Unless you're Anthony Richardson.
I think Anthony Richardson's going to get 3 years.
Yeah, I think he'll probably start at the beginning of the year.
He will at least start games this year, right? He will, even if it's Daniel Jones out there first, like Anthony, once the season goes haywire, because they have to know. It's about information gathering, right? That's almost what I was saying about Bryce last year. When Andy Dalton was starting, prior to Andy Dalton's car accident that put Bryce back in, I was going, I don't care if you're 99% out on Bryce. You play him to gather the information you need to make it 100%. Or let him fight his way back from 99% out to 50% out, which is, by the way, I think what he did. I think when they benched him, I think the world was probably 95% out on Bryce. And he scrapped and clawed and turned that 5% into like 50. I think it's like 50-50 right now. I don't think he's back in the positive. He's neutral. Heaster Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Call in if you'd like to. But while we're here, let's hit a little ladder challenge.
Oh, my God! And for the 20-foot ladder with a spear on Jeff Hardy. For the love of God, Jeff Hardy may be broken. Smack dab in half.
Where I get to start by railing on the Carolina Panthers decision around their offense. My last pick was Panthers to score 9.5 or more points in their preseason game.
Whoops.
With my thought process being, starters are going to play 3 series. There's no way Dave Canales would let their confidence be shattered by not scoring a touchdown or 2 with the starters. That's not 2020 hindsight. That's what I said on Wednesday of last week. They scored 3 points, and the confidence was shattered of the starters. And they didn't even go out for 3 series. I need to stop treating the Panthers like a logical team. Start treating them like one that you can't predict. The Panthers are officially your wild card friend. Everybody else, they're going to show up at the time the party starts. Your wild card friend might show up 3 hours late, and he's bringing Steven Tyler with him. I don't know how, but it happens. The Panthers are my wild card friend. Most teams, they're going to make sure their young offense that desperately needs confidence sees something good happen in a preseason game. The Panthers, they might have them play 6 plays and send them to the bench. By the way, that was half inspired by one of my friends. Randomly one year, went home for Thanksgiving, came back, said, look who joined me at Thanksgiving. And it was his family, and Steven Tyler was there. Apparently like a old friend of one of his aunts. They were in town touring, had nowhere to go for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Jumped over to their Thanksgiving. Most random picture I've ever seen in my life. He wore 100 scarves to Thanksgiving. How'd your ladder challenge go, Dennis? Are you still ahead?
Yeah, it did. It went quite well. I needed David Peterson in that Atlanta Braves New York Mets game on Thursday last week just to throw 3 strikeouts, throw 3+, and he did. So I'm up to $21.76 now.
Congratulations. As the leader, you get to go first.
I'm going Paul Skeens. They'll bounce back here. Paul Skeens, 4+ strikeouts today, -1,000 taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. So my $21.76 will turn into $23.93. So right on the borderline, -1,000.
I'm also going -1,000. I need to see one go through the hoop. I need a free throw or a layup to get my three-pointer going.
You need a check down completion.
Exactly. I need a screen. Hey, Canales, when a young quarterback loses a little bit of his confidence, manufacture him one. Get him a running back on a choice option 2 feet in front of his face. That's what I need. So I'm going Bengals, 1 or more touchdown passes tonight as they take on Washington. Burrow expected to play. He looked like a cheat code in their first preseason game. But even if he doesn't make it happen, there's a long game to get at least 1 touchdown pass by the Bengals. That's all I need. All I need. -1,000 would turn my $10 into $11. You're not going to retire the grandparents off of them, making $1 on a $10 bet. But if you roll it over and you do that every single day through the end of the month, you can make a nice little chunk of change. So Bengals, 1 or more touchdown passes. I'm hoping to have this one locked up by the end of the first drive. Likely Burrow to chase, because that's just how it goes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody out there that participated in Monday's Sound Off. We're going to start bringing that back every Monday, reacting to what happened over the weekend and letting you guys take control of the show for a little bit, as long as you don't abuse the privilege. So bookmark that in your calendar. About 4:20 every Monday, Heaster Automotive Group Hotline will open back up for all of your insight. For insight from Dennis Cox, here's himself, Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every single month? Stop right now. At Loan Pronto, they're delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You could skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last long. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine this. Lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 house payments. Don't let high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. UNC football. Can we stop with the charades? Can we stop playing the games? Gio Lopez is your starting quarterback, right? Next.
The Adam Gold Show.
We all knew things were going to change when Will Wade got here. We saw the recruiting. We saw the work in the transfer portal. We see the energy of Will Wade. And then I looked at the non-conference schedule and I went, this is something we have never seen over the last 25 years at State for basketball. A non-conference schedule where there are as many losable games as there are easy wins. Good on you, Will.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Is your heating and air system handling the hot weather okay? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here for Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you're struggling with weight like I have in the past, or maybe you've bounced from one fad diet to the next, you need to listen to this. I can proudly say that I'm down 25 pounds. That's right, 25 pounds in 3 weeks, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center, and that's just the beginning. The program helps reset your metabolism naturally. No injections, no steroids, no shots, no HGH, just your body doing what it naturally can do, which is burn off that weight. My clothes fit better, I'm sleeping better, my resting heart rate's the lowest it's been in years, my girlfriend doesn't complain about me snoring anymore. Get yourself where you need to be with Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Raleigh Weight Loss Center is having a huge end-of-summer sale offering up to 20% off now through August 29th with the lowest prices of the year on the amazing Raleigh Weight Loss program. Schedule your free consultation today by calling 919-897-7506. That's 919-897-7506 or online at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Emphasis on 99.9 The Fan, because we have a whole bunch of cool stuff coming up on 99.9 The Fan. We'll start furthest into the future and work our way back. Wolfpack Weekly with Dave Doran will be on 99.9 The Fan Wednesday at 7 p.m. It is the inaugural Wolfpack Weekly of the season, which then becomes a weekly deal where you hear from Dave Doran, insight into what's going on with the NC State Wolfpack football team. That's Wednesdays at 7. Tomorrow on this show, 99.9 The Fan, at 5:30, we'll be talking with Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach. So you get some, by the way, permanent head football coach for Blake Harrell. Interim is kind of how he finished last year. Now it's the full deal. So we'll hear from Coach Harrell on what it's like going into his first season leading ECU. And yes, there's a pretty big North Carolina in-state game that he'll start the season with. And then Panther Talk tonight at 6 p.m. So we are about an hour and 15 minutes away from Anish Shroff and newsmakers inside the Carolina Panthers facility. Autopsying that preseason game? Like, how do you breaking it down? I don't know what you want to call it.
Dave Canales does join them.
So you'll hear whatever that was. You'll hear about it. Panther Talk tonight, 6 p.m. Just a preseason game, but still a preseason game. Panther Talk tonight at 6 p.m. As of this moment, let's go ahead and talk about something that I hope we can put on the calendar in the near future. I hope we can say, hey, by this time, X amount of days into the future, and X being a low number, we know who the starting quarterback for UNC is. Can we, and I say we, like we get to decide it, can Carolina and Belichick or Freddie Kitchens or whoever's making the decisions over there, Michael Lombardi, their GM, can we stop with the facade, the charade, the act, and just know that Gio Lopez is going to start at quarterback for UNC? I've seen coaches play the we don't know who's going to be the starter card, even if they know internally and they want to keep it so the right one runs the ball more, one doesn't. That's what I thought actually UNC was doing last year. Remember Connor Harrell and Max Johnson, and Mac Brown was going, I may not know until kickoff. Maybe they'll both play. And I hated it, and I said as much then. I just don't like handling the quarterback position that way. But I understood it because Blake Harrell runs a ton. He was a 4.4 guy, 4.4 40. Max Johnson, more of a traditional pocket passer. So I guess you could have kept Minnesota on edge a little bit on, do you need contains? Do you need spies in the defense? Or can you treat him more like a pocket passer? But the one thing they did was they at least hit it, right? They did keep it hidden. They did not... right, it was Connor Harrell and Max Johnson, I believe, are both at ACC kickoff. They played the game. UNC this year, it's like I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because they're saying, I don't know, there's a quarterback competition, and then treating Gio Lopez like the starter. We're at ACC kickoff. We talked to Gio Lopez, not Bryce Baker, not Max Johnson. No one else is there. The NIL money reports come out, and there's, again, some reports, and we don't get confirmations for the NIL stuff, although I think eventually we'll get the revenue share numbers maybe more public. But we don't get the NIL money public. But there are some reports out there that Gio Lopez is getting multiple $1 million a year, $2+ million a year, which would indicate starting quarterback money. And then I turn on ACC Kickoff or ACC Network today to catch up on what I was at the beach over the weekend, and I'm catching it up. And so I go back into my little archives, and they have the ACC tailgate tour, whatever they're calling it. They're going to every ACC training camp. It's West Durham, friend of the show. It's EJ Manuel, right? It's the squad. And they're at UNC for their 13th school that they visited. Belichick goes and talks to the team. Cool. Talks to the interview process, right? He sits down with the group. Cool. You hear much of the same thing that we've heard, right? It's all about improvement. There, blah, blah, blah. Talk about the quarterback battle. Who's next to be interviewed? Gio Lopez walks up there with all the strut of a starting quarterback, and then they have to ask him about the relationship between him and the other quarterbacks in this quarterback battle. And I'm just going like, I've never seen somebody. It's like they're I'm trying to think of a funny. It's like they stole my bike and stored it behind a chain link fence, and they're telling me they don't have it. And I'm going like, that's not a wooden fence. I can see through it. My bike is right there. And they're, no, I don't know where it is. I have no idea. Oh, really? It's a red bike? Didn't see it. It's on your porch. I see it behind. They're going like, quarterback competition could be anyone. Could be any of us. Heck, maybe we'll start Davion Goss and just run the Wildcat the whole time. Could be anybody. I see him right there. Gio, you're treating him like the starter. What am I missing? No, he's not the starter. Could be any of them. Who knows? What is going on here? That's where I'm at. That's the location of my brain. And maybe that's what Bill Belichick wants. Maybe this is the, what are they called? The prestige of the magic trick he's pulling off. Let's get the local media really confused and talking about what we have going on over here with the quarterback. Meanwhile, he's working his magic on the defense. Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying not to miss anything, but my brain keeps going to, why aren't they just telling us? By the way, Tennessee announced their starter over the weekend. Ohio State announced their starter over the weekend. All of these other teams that played the same game are getting to the point where you just got to do it. You have to let the team rally around the guy for a second before opening kick. You have to let the players speak to the media and say how excited they are for the player. Gio Lopez, I'm sure, wants to have an interview that he doesn't have to talk about how awesome Bryce Baker and Max Johnson are as dudes. And even though they're competing, it's such a close-knit quarterback room. He wants to talk about throwing it to receivers. He wants to talk about Jordan Shipp. He wants to talk about a few of these other guys that he has to get, Kobe Paysor or Goss out of the backfield. I don't know I want to hear that. But again, maybe it's the Belichick thing. I don't want to give Belichick I don't want to treat him like he's Yoda is what I'm getting at here. Okay? And some of you are like, what does that mean? I see this happening with Jerry Jones. And sorry for the caller that hates talking about Jerry Jones. I'm just using it as an analogy.
That's fair.
Jerry Jones is mismanaging the Micah Parsons contract 100 different ways. And then people are saying, well, they have the documentary coming out on Netflix, and maybe Jerry Jones knows that by dragging this out, it's free publicity. They're going to be talking about the Cowboys and Micah Parsons on every show for X amount of months, and that's just building up vibes. So much so that they're at the premiere. It's a Netflix documentary. They're at the premiere, and Jerry Jones, sheepishly is like, well, if people aren't talking about the Cowboys, I have no problem doing some things or saying some things that'll get people talking about the Cowboys. And I'm going no. Don't let him reverse engineer a bad decision into 3D chess that none of us caught. This happened with, I think it was Kyrie, right? Kyrie floated out some, maybe he thinks the earth is flat. And then after everybody was like, that's so wrong. A couple weeks later, he's like, that was an experiment. I just wanted to see if y'all would believe me. And I'm, no, we're not allowed to. Can't believe that, right? Don't let, if UNC is just outthinking themselves and doing this whole who's the starting quarterback thing, my instinct is to go, maybe Belichick knows that means Gio Lopez is going to talk about the quarterback competition for 4 minutes out of every 10-minute interview he does, and that's 6 minutes less that he can say something that he'll regret. So just keep it going. But no, I'm not giving them that weird escape door out of their logic. If you're going to treat him like the starter, if he's going to be the starter, gosh darn it, name him the starter. It's good. Trust me. Even if you've said it internally, okay? Even if you've told the team Lopez is going to start, but we're not saying it publicly because we see some competitive advantage, so everybody keep your lips sealed. We'll practice during the portions that the media can watch with, equal reps, but then once the media is gone, we'll go back to getting our first team ready. Even if you've done that, I promise you, it still feels like to the players as if you're not fully on board. Because you can go back on it and it's not embarrassing, right? Actually, never mind. We changed it. Thank goodness we didn't tell everybody. You're not fully committed. If you want Gio Lopez to be as confident, or whoever's going to be your starter, but Gio Lopez, if you want Gio Lopez to be as confident and as out of his own brain to instinctually respond from the moment the game starts, name your starter. And it's different than other positions. Right, I love when coaches are like, we're going to play both. It's until the one guy goes out there and leads a touchdown drive on his first series. And you know what? Never mind. That worked. We're not messing with it. It's not like running back. It's not like safety where, you're probably going to have to play a bunch of guys throughout the game. Or if, your two best players are both free safeties, you can move one to strong safety. Or you can move one to nickel or whatever you want to do. It's not like that. Maybe you could work Bryce Baker in there because he's a big dude and apparently can run, the freshman. If you have a Wildcat package or the old Tim Tebow to Chris Leak deal, maybe you can make that work. But even that's more difficult than you think. It stinks as a starting quarterback having to jog off the sideline on 2nd and 1 on the 1 yard line and watch some other guy score. You may say team first, team always, team only. If you're a quarterback, you have an ego. I promise you that. As a former quarterback, you may not want to say publicly, but at some point in your life, coach said, what position do you want to play? And you said, the most important one that has the ball on every single play. You got an ego if you play that position. I promise you. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting 5 coming up next. Do you think the Panthers should trade for Trey Hendrickson? He led the entire NFL in sacks last year. The Panthers need playmakers on defense. Does it make sense? That's part of the starting 5 coming up next.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time.
No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If we're going to do a quick power ranking right now of second-year QBs, you're saying Jaden 1.
Yes.
2 Knicks.
Correct.
3.
May.
Which would leave us 4 Caleb.
At best. You got J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. I would have all 3 of those guys in the hat. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams is 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams was 6th.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. Our fellowship-trained orthopedists do it all. General, sports, pediatric, joint replacement, fractures, spine, prevention, advanced diagnostics, progressive treatments, minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, and more. Visit wakemed.org/wakeortho and get back your life.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it.
That one back. That one going. Gone.
Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Hi, this is meteorologist Brian Schrader in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. We will see a couple of evening storms possibly, and then increasing clouds overnight with lows in the upper 60s to lower 70s. We start tomorrow with some clouds and maybe a sprinkle, then partly cloudy by afternoon with just an isolated storm, highs in the mid to upper 80s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell today, down 34 points to 44,911.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump to the starting 5, it's back, everybody. Second annual Numbers Game live show presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill takes place this Thursday. The perfect score players of the Numbers Game, which have already been notified, RSVP'd, all of that, will battle the clock and each other at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills, a fabulous hotel for all your needs, as they try to settle the tried and true legendary question of who is the best at the Numbers Game. You can watch along as we crown our champion live on our YouTube live stream. 99.9 The Fan. Search for it on YouTube. Subscribe now, right? Set the alerts, the alarms, all of that so you don't miss out. But it will be live on our 99.9 The Fan live stream August 21st. That's this Thursday, starting about 7 o'clock. Special thanks to On-Site AV, a full-service event production company, for supplying the sights and sounds of Numbers Game live. It's all this Thursday. I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoy this event, really enjoy hanging out with some of you and putting on a show. And I get to, live out everybody's dream of pretending to be a game show host.
You won't be pretending. You actually will be doing it.
That's true, too. It's a temporary realizing of a dream. Alex Trebek, Pat Sajak, me. Gene Rayburn, Bob Barker, me.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey, for sure. Al Borland, whoever the guy was that played him. Richard Dawson. We could just do this on Family Feud. What's the guy's name? Andy. You know what I'm talking about? The bigger guy, blonde hair.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh, it's going to frustrate me. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll have to move on, but I promise you that'll be rattling around in the back of my brain for the rest of this starting five. Luckily, we have some cool things to talk about. Try to keep my mind off it, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The Panthers, by Jordan Schultz, NFL insider, have been linked to Trey Hendrickson as a possible trade. The 3 teams that Jordan Schultz reported are known to have called about Trey Hendrickson. The Browns, the Colts, and the Panthers. The report continues with the Bengals, in exchange for last year's NFL leading sack producer, would want 1 or 2 impact players plus draft picks. All right, if that's the information we know, at least according to Jordan Schultz. The question then becomes, should the Panthers entertain it? My reaction is absolutely not. I don't like grabbing players in their 30s at this point in their rebuild. To me, Trey Hendrickson is at the point in his career where if you think you're a Trey Hendrickson away from winning a Super Bowl, you go all out to get Trey Hendrickson. If you think Trey Hendrickson takes you from a 7-win team to an 8-win team, from a 6-win team to an 8-win team, you don't make that deal, because I think while it might do that, right, it might give you a couple wins. I think it hurts your ability to go from a 6-win team to a 12-win team, right? Because what you'd have to do is take a lot of the resources that could solve 5 problems for you and put them all into Trey Hendrickson, right? And I was just spitballing earlier. Let's say it's a 2nd rounder, a 4th rounder, a young defensive player that you like. I don't care really who it is. Monmielen, one of your interior defensive linemen, Scorton, whatever. Probably has to be from the interior defensive line because the Bengals have to want the player. And it's not going to be J.C. Horn or Trevon Merrick. And then somebody depth on offense, maybe a Jalen Coker, right? Let's say that's what they're looking for. And then once you get Trey Hendrickson, you have to pay him $35 million a year. So think about that. That could be a solution to one of your interior defensive line rotation spots, a solution for your 3rd or 4th wide receiver spot, draft picks that could be solutions to whatever falls to you in that draft. So up to 4 solutions. Plus, with the $35 million a year that you'd have to pay him, that could be 3 or 4 more solutions in free agency, or 3 or 4 more solutions to contract negotiations down the line. So you're looking at taking 6 or 7, 8 solutions and putting them all into Trey Hendrickson, which, if one solution solves your team, completes the puzzle, and turns you into a Super Bowl contender, you do it. But if you're a team that has 15 problems, you don't take 6 solutions and put them into one. Think about it like, I'll use this analogy. I was just at the beach, right? What do you do at the beach when it's raining? You break out the puzzle, right? You break out the jigsaw, the 1,000-piecer that's kept in the house you're renting, right? You go get the 1,000-piecer, you put it on the table, you watch the thunderstorm. When you have like a third of the puzzle done, and somebody walks up to you and goes, $10, I'll give you the final piece, or I'll give you one piece. I'll tell you where it fits. You're like, heck no, absolutely not. One piece, what is that going to do for me? I have 785 more pieces that I have to get done. But if you've ever gotten to the end of a puzzle, you had the whole thing figured out, the whole thing locked in, except for one piece, and you realize that whoever did the puzzle before lost one piece, how unfulfilling it is to just know that you're done and there's one piece missing? Somebody comes up and goes, $10, I'll give you that piece. Fine, deal, here you go. That's Trey Hendrickson, right? Hey, all it's going to take is a couple of players, couple of picks. I'll give you a stud piece of your defense, edge rusher. What is that supposed to do for me? I need 785 pieces right now. You're going to make me overpay for one? Meanwhile, if you're the Bills, meanwhile, if you're the Packers, meanwhile, if you're like any of these teams that think they're one player away from winning a Super Bowl, they're like, yeah, our puzzle's almost done. We just need that guy. Those are the ones that should trade for him, not the Panthers. That's number 5. Please hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
UNC, North Carolina. Shout out to Brian Murphy, WRAL sports investigative reporter, friend of the show, as he often does. Did some great reporting onto UNC's revenue share. One of the, I think, under-talked about parts of this groundbreaking situation we found ourselves in college sports, where teams can share revenue. They can pay their athletes $20.5 million up to that. Is how teams or how schools are going to divide it up, right? I've talked about how it should be a reality television show of getting all the coaches for one school together, where you can hear the men's soccer coach saying, we've won 4 conference titles last 10 years. Football's won none. Why are they getting so darn much money? And you can have the women's basketball coach going, we've produced first-round picks in the WNBA, and the men get so much more money, and why this and why that, and like, because you've kind of set it up to be a fight for dollars amongst the teams by putting the cap on your entire athletic program rather than on individual teams. So we did learn, again, through Brian Murphy, some of how UNC is going to divide up their spending. Dennis, I believe you have some details for us.
I do. So actually, a lot of this comes from Bubba Cunningham on the Carolina Insider podcast.
Shout out to athletic director for the Tar Heels, Bubba Cunningham.
So he said that in the podcast that the way they're distributing their revenue is pretty much based on the percentages of what sports bring in. And 65% of that $20.5 million, so $13 million is going to go to football. $7 million is going to go to men's basketball. And then $250,000 each to both baseball and women's basketball. Now, again, keep in mind, that's just revenue share. Obviously, there's still NIL deals and stuff, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But $7 million for Hubert Davis and men's basketball before you hit the NIL money that you could potentially guys that can make. That's a pretty significant chunk, especially since we're seeing a lot of schools maybe are going to give 70% or even 75% of their money to football. Really try and max that out as much as possible and not going as much into men's basketball. So it's interesting seeing the breakdown of how football with Bill Belichick, $13 million of revenue share. Men's basketball, Hubert Davis getting $7 million. The roster size is quite different, to say the least.
True. You also have to look at market rate, right? Like, I think a starting point guard goes for a lot more than a starting safety right now.
Yeah.
It's smaller roster sizes mean one guy can help you or one lady can help you win more, so their price is going to be more. I thought it was interesting that the number assigned to football, $13 million. I believe that comes out to a little more than 63% of the revenue share goes to football. And
it's about 65.
Okay. That is less. Like, we've heard the number is you can give any one sport up to 75.
Yep.
So they're roughly 10% less than what they could give to football, which I think is interesting. But also, here's my thought process maybe from the front office, from the administration standpoint. They gave Bill Belichick $10 million.
They did.
Per year.
Mm-hmm.
They gave Bill Belichick a nice sum for his support staff and his assistant coaches. And
their GM, Michael Lombardi's making $1.5 million a year.
And that is all not capped by this revenue share. So it could be seen as, we gave you a lot more money to the guys that are supposed to make this money stretch further. So we're giving you less of the money to stretch, and you better be so good, based on what we're paying you, that you make it work. Thus, we can then turn around and give our basketball team more than I would guess most basketball teams are getting in revenue share. That $7 million is significant.
Yeah.
And then you add on NIL and you add on these other ways that they can get paid. UNC basketball should be well funded compared to its peers, especially when you consider a lot of the other elite basketball programs are coming from the SEC and Big Ten recently, and I almost guarantee SEC and Big Ten schools are not taking from football's pocket to pay basketball. No. So, UNC putting their money where their mouth is as far as valuing basketball, and I respect that. Right? You're the Carolina Tar Heels. Basketball has to mean something to you. I respect that.
If a school were to give, let's say, for example, that max 75% of the revenue share to football, and they can say they just give the rest of men's basketball and it's just those two sports. If they give the rest of men's basketball, you're looking at about $5.1 million. So UNC is going to be topping out most of these programs by a couple million, nearly. Again, that's before you hit NIL and all that stuff as well. It also goes to show you, hey, Hubert Davis, you're getting more than a lot of other schools. You better make it happen. Now, again, after this season, they could adjust these percentages and numbers and all that kind of stuff. But as of right now, UNC basketball is getting a pretty big chunk.
And if you want to see what an athletics program cares about, follow the money.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to say, we love our Olympic sports. Follow the money. We'll see how much they love their Olympic sports. Like, I think Stanford's legitimately going to be like, and we carved out $200,000 for the rowing team because they care about it, right? I think you'll see who, speak with actions and dollars, not your mouth. That's number 4. Let's hit number 3. And then there's this other thing. There's the revenue share portion of how much guys get paid, ladies get paid in college. Then there's the NIL money, which is still a thing. Caleb Wilson, incoming UNC freshman basketball player, 5-star, one of the top 10 to 15 recruits in the country. According to Shams Charania and his sources at ESPN, North Carolina's Caleb Wilson, a projected 2026 NBA draft lottery pick, has signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar shoe endorsement deal with New Balance. Now, a few things here. One, that does not come from revenue share. So he could get $1 million from UNC and then also whatever he gets from New Balance, and that would all combine into what he's making this year, right? Similar to, if you ever look at like highest paid athlete lists, you see like Kevin Durant is there and his on-court salary is $50 million and he makes $95 per year. That's because, Nike's giving him a chunk of change and Gatorade's giving him a chunk of change, whatever. Caleb Wilson, he's going to make a lot of money with UNC giving him a chunk of change and New Balance giving him a chunk of change and whoever else wants to endorse him and be in the Caleb Wilson business giving him a chunk of change. That's good for UNC, okay, for a few reasons. One, I do think there is a true nobody is more up to date on what's going on with the top recruits of right now than the top recruits of tomorrow. Right? The freshmen that just got invited to their first elite basketball camp, they're on 247.com. They're on Scout Rivals, whatever the things are, a lot. And they're going to know, Caleb Wilson went to UNC and he got $1 million+ a year to wear New Balance. File that one away for the future. It's the new brand building.
Yep.
Right? It used to be you go to UNC because it was cool to go to UNC. Now, you go to UNC because UNC is cool, and thus that coolness translates to brands wanting to be in the business with you, endorsements coming, and all of those things. They play a lot of nationally televised games. That helps. It's also important to remember he doesn't get to wear New Balance in games.
No, he doesn't. He also has to wear Jordans.
Yeah, he'll be wearing Jordans. Similar to Cooper Flagg last year, was signed to New Balance, but he was wearing the Kobe's or whatever.
Yeah, they're Kobe school.
Nike was providing for him, but you can pop up in New Balance commercials. You can wear New Balance in your spare time and all those things. Really what it is, and this is the bigger news, it's a bet on Caleb Wilson. Because notice they said multi-year, multi-million-dollar endorsement. That means if he's a one-and-done lottery pick, he's in the NBA next year, New Balance has him wearing New Balance in games. Just like if you watch Summer League, Cooper Flagg was wearing New Balance in those games in the NBA Summer League. So that's what this is about. A major shoe company did their research, did their scouting, talked to their gurus, talked to everybody they talked to, and they need to know who's the next big thing, and said Caleb Wilson is worth the investment that he can take New Balance potentially to the next level. So that's good for UNC too. Just that other smart basketball people are making investments in a player you're invested in.
By the way, casual New Balance sneakers are a hot thing.
Yeah, I've been told that.
They really are. You'd be shocked at the amount of units that get moved of New Balance nowadays by like sneakerheads like me.
And I was going to say,
I don't even wear New Balance.
It's not just like, your dad gets New Balance to mow the lawn anymore. Now it's your cool younger siblings get New Balance and laugh at you for wearing not New Balance.
Yeah, I know. Like, oh, cool. Jordan 1s.
I don't know.
Don't trust me. Oh, no, you'd be shocked.
Jordan 1s aren't cool anymore?
Apparently. Which is fine with me. I love Jordan 1s. Easier for me to get them.
Did I just sound 100 years old? Jordan 1s aren't cool anymore?
Yeah, you did, actually.
That's so hip. All right, let's move on. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
As I have an existential crisis over here. NC State basketball, men's and women's, throwing a little doubleheader exhibition action in Greensboro. It'll be our first look at both teams. It's coming up October 26th in Greensboro. The women will play at 2 o'clock. The NC State women's basketball team will play at 2 o'clock against Maryland, followed by the men taking on South Carolina at 4:30. It is a exhibition event, so these games do not count. They are dress rehearsals. They're becoming more and more. Remember they used to be called secret scrimmages? And nobody would know that they're happening, and there would be some, beat reporter that would get a whiff of it, and it would just be like, oh no, Georgetown got taken to the wire by USC Upstate or something, and nobody was supposed to know. Now they're throwing these exhibitions in Greensboro, selling tickets, making it a whole thing. So, first of all, I like it better that way. I think your team gets more out of it. You get to play someone else, so it's not scrimmaging the same, scout team over and over again. You get to play in front of the crowd. You get the feel for fans, which allows some of those pregame jitters to get knocked off, the rust knocked off prior to game one. And, especially we'll use NC State men as the example because they have a new coach. You get to see how Will Wade wants to handle game days, right? You get to see what it's like on the road. When's pregame meal? When's bed check? What's the meeting schedule? When do you travel over for the game? All of that kind of happens in Greensboro. So you don't have to deal with any of that the first time. You got to do it where the results are live, right? So I think it's good. And you bring in Maryland. Maryland was, a Sweet 16 team for the women last year?
I think so, yeah.
South Carolina wasn't as good on the men's side, but you get a South Carolina, North Carolina state thing going there. That's fine. I think both teams regionally make sense playing in Greensboro. I think it'll be a really fun atmosphere, and both coaches learn a lot about their team. Let's jump to the next one. Number 1.
Go one!
Panthers played a preseason game over the weekend. Somebody should have told the offense. 6 plays, 3 drives, 7 if you include one that was called back on a penalty. Essentially 2 3-and-outs. They were, I guess, planned. It was open knowledge that they were going to go 3 series. It was kind of unprompted from Dave Canales. After last week's game, he was like, and next week we're getting 3 series.
Yeah, he said he would like to. He said he would like to.
And then he ends up pulling them after 2 series, not putting them back in the game despite the fact that they didn't look good. Sometimes I see a coach say, hey, I want to get them 3 series. Then the first series is like a 12-play long drive, and the next one is 9 plays. And they're like, you know what? We don't need a third series. We got the work we were looking for. This was not that. He was asked after the game what preseason struggles mean to him as a coach.
I think the cool part for me is it allows us to coach our guys hard on the fundamentals of football.
which is the reason why we come away with 3 points, which is the reason why, teams are sustaining drives, different things like that. It's like it comes down to the basics. It comes down to playing your leverage, knowing your assignment, and then finishing the play. Who's going to make the plays for us? That's what we want to know, and we've seen guys do it, consistently and then inconsistently when we get into our game settings. And so it just allows me to challenge them. Like, we're trying to win all these games, with whatever group goes out there. That's the goal. And to not be able to get that done, it's frustrating.
Something's not connecting with me, Dennis. You get to coach them up. You get to challenge them. You didn't put them back on the field. Where was the coaching? I mean, between Series 1 and Series 2 is what he's talking about. Did you challenge them to play better and then say, by the way, I'm not giving you the chance to go back out there and play better? Like, everything he said there and their actions don't really line up unless I'm missing something. And I've missed things in the past. So it's definitely possible. But for him to say, like, we get to coach him up hard. It's like, well, do it. Right? Do it. That's at least from my experience as a athlete, and I'm sure many of you at different levels of sports had the same thing where a coach gets in your face and then they end it with, be ready to go back out there, and they storm away, right? Get your head on straight, as soon as our defense gets this stop, it's back on you, and you get out of there, right? After just getting reamed out for 4 minutes, and then you get to go out there and you get to try to finish on a high note. Got coached up and then told him, by the way, sit right there and stew in it, and moved on. You're not playing next week either, because he did say they're not playing in the final preseason game. It's like, all right, I don't. It's just something's not adding up there. Canales was also asked where his team is lacking right now, and this is what he had to say.
I feel great about our conditioning level. I feel great about the physicality of the play. I don't feel great about our execution of the basics, because it's not showing up consistently for us, and there's flashes. I'm excited about our guys. I'm excited about our people, but that's where leadership comes in, and when are we going to take those steps to count on each other and to be able to make those plays when they're available.
Ding, 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 ding. We got an issue. The basics? Isn't that a coaching thing? The extraordinary, I often account to players, right? The extraordinary, the unbelievable diving catch and coverage, that's a player's thing. The role of the coach is to instill an understanding of the basics and what is expected of you. So that's a bit of like a house is built, the electrician is looking at it, and the electrician's going, what really bothers me the most? None of the wiring is good. Plumbing, solid. The craftsmanship, really great. The electrical work's not great. It's like, aren't you the electrician? Not important to talk. We need to fix the electricity and how it moves through that house. We all really need to work on it. It's like the painter is like, I don't know, the painting looks crisp. Sounds like a you problem. Canales is sitting there going, playing hard, conditioning's well. It's like, great. Strength coach did his job. Physicality is great. It's like, all right, players are playing hard. Love it. It's our understanding of the basics. I don't know. We got to come together and fix that. It's the coach has got to. That's your thing. That's you. That's your deal. Now we just have to figure out how to do it. It's not a we issue here, coach. I think that's you. And that is. It's preseason, and I want to be clear, and I'll say this before all of you run to Twitter and tell me, it's just preseason. I know it's just preseason. If it doesn't matter to you, cool. Right? If you are somebody that truly believes preseason is pointless, it's fantasy land, it's nonsense, it doesn't matter, cool. Dave Canales isn't that way. If he was, he wouldn't have put his starters in the game. It serves some purpose, because you don't go let your players get hurt, get hit, unless you think there is something to gain. So he doesn't think it's pointless. If you do, fine. You can go ahead, just hang out, chill, wait for game one. I think they think it matters, at least a little bit.
I said this on Panthers Playbook on Saturday after the game.
Check it out, by the way. New episodes out darn near 2-3 times a week.
Yeah. And I said this. I said two things can be true. One, yes, it is just preseason. But two, you can still expect more and still expect better, especially from your starters. I both things can be true. Yeah, it's a preseason game. It doesn't matter. But you still expect to see better execution from that group. Both things can be true.
And also, doesn't this sound like something Dave Canales would say? How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
If we're going to go out there, we're going to go out there crisp. If we're going to go out there, we're going to want to show ourselves well. You know, if anything we do, especially in front of the fans, we're going to take seriously and we're going to execute. You went out there and you, I mean, from an offensive production standpoint, you embarrassed yourselves. If you weren't going to go out there and play, let somebody know, right? That now I'm getting full coach, right? If you're going to go out there, you aren't going to play hard, you aren't going to execute, let them know. I'd rather put the JV out there, and they're going to play hard, and they're going to care. They're going to do their job. They might get run over, but they're going to execute their assignments. Seriously, if that's the product you're going to put out, you might as well not have walked out there. And it frustrates me beyond all get out that they didn't get an opportunity to go out there in the third series. They should have been throwing the tablet on the sideline, yelling at coach, I need one more. I need to show. But they didn't do that. And Dave Canales didn't let him have it. And now we just have to wait for week one. It's going to be a long wait for week one for the Carolina Panthers. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Not a long wait for the numbers game, because right now you can call in and play the numbers game. 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and potentially win a pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams at the Lenovo Center on November 5th. The winner will receive a pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams at the Lenovo Center on November 5th. If you want the tickets, you got to win. If you want to win, you got to call in now. We need 2 contestants for the numbers game. 919-860-5326 for your chance to play. Numbers game coming up next.
Get ready.
Concepcion touchdown, 13 yards. NC State leads North Carolina with 8:01 to play.
College football kicks off August 23rd.
Jones a first down and more. 10-5. They've tied the game. Bully ball by the Duke offense. Down the far sideline. Caught at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Carolina.
On 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Is your whole home operating at peak performance? With Newcomb & Company, your independent Trane dealer, proudly serving our community for over 70 years. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs, including repairs and replacements for faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Guys, Marcy Bailey here from Bailey's Fine Jewelry with some diamond advice. Buying an engagement ring doesn't have to be so complicated. We've been doing this since 1948, and we know what women want, a combination of size and quality. And a little hint here, size wins big. We guarantee you can be in and out in under an hour, and she'll love the ring or your money back. It's that easy. Come see why we're voted the best place to buy a diamond. And remember, every woman wants a Bailey box.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have AJ in Raleigh and Bill in Raleigh, stuck in traffic, getting set, getting ready to play the numbers game. Because it's time to play the numbers game. The prize for today, tickets to see Bryan Adams in November at the Lenovo Center. So one of these two will walk away with those tickets. As always, we'll ask both contestants the same question. Dennis will hear the answers, pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. We'll start with AJ and Raleigh. AJ, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. The question is, since it is a Monday, I want you to look back on the weekend that was, this past weekend, and pick your highlight. But because we're a sports show, it needs to be some kind of sports highlight, related to sports somehow. What is your sports highlight of the weekend?
Me and my buddies, we made up a golf game, and we were playing that, and I ended up losing. It's basically like we put a bucket out in the front yard, and closest to it wins. Then we played 18 holes.
All right, I like it. It started with you created a game, and it ended with you were playing golf with a bucket. But hey, whatever it takes to have some fun. I'm all for backyard games. So, AJ, your answer is locked in. We'll see if Dennis chooses it. Sorry you didn't win. Shout out to AJ's friend for winning. Bill in Raleigh, stuck in traffic. Same question to you. Looking at this past weekend, what was the highlight of your weekend? But make sure it's related to sports somehow because we're a sports show.
Highlight would probably be taking my kids to train soccer as they gear up for this season at NCFC.
All right, kids to train in soccer. Dennis, we got a couple wholesome weekends here, playing backyard games with your buddies, making them up as you go along, or training the kids in some soccer to get them ready for some NCFC action.
I kind of like that, hey, we're going to create a game on the spot type deal. Hey, closest to the bucket. We'll throw a bucket out there and just see a closest one. And, hey, if you get in the bucket, it's a hole in one or something along those lines. You can, you create a game.
Work on your short game. Work on your short game.
Exactly. You know, so I'm going to go with AJ on this one.
All right, AJ, you get to go first. Bill, a great answer as well. You just have to sit on hold, and you'll have your chance. AJ, you ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right, the categories are NFL mid-August birthdays, so NFL players born in mid-August. NFL ACC pros, so these are players that played their college football in the Atlantic Coast Conference and then were in the NFL at some point between 2010 and 2019, so a specific era of NFL players from the ACC. NBA players that are listed at exactly 6 feet tall, no taller, no shorter, or NHL players, Hurricanes throughout history.
I'll go NFL August birthdays.
Okay, mid-August birthdays to be specific, but I'll give you the category anyway. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Kirk Cousins, Atlanta Falcons.
18.
Correct. Antoine Randall L., Pittsburgh Steelers.
Skip.
Ben Coates, New England Patriots.
88.
Say it again.
88.
Incorrect. Tim Tebow, New York Jets.
7.
Incorrect. Antoine Randall L., Pittsburgh Steelers.
7.
Incorrect. Ben Coates, New England Patriots.
84.
It was after the whistle or after the buzzer, so I'm glad you were wrong on that one. But you were getting closer on Ben Coates. Antoine Randall L. Steelers 82 is what we were looking for. Ben, as Chris Berman would say, winter coats. 87 is the number we were looking for there. So you went 88, 84. You were in the right neighborhood. Tebow with the Jets, number 15, went back to his college number. Unfortunately, didn't come up with any of those, but you did get Kirk Cousins. So you avoided the shutout. You got yourself one. You have a chance. We'll see if it holds up, okay?
All right.
All right. And that brings us to Bill in Raleigh. Bill, are you there?
I'm here, man.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players from the years 2010 to 2019 that played their college football in the ACC, NBA players that stood exactly 6 feet tall, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
I do the ACC NFL thing.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need at least 2 for the win. Any questions before we get started?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams.
84.
Incorrect. Brian Burns, 94. New York Giants.
15.
Incorrect. Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams.
94.
Incorrect. Brian Burns, New York Giants.
22.
Incorrect. Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams.
98.
Incorrect. Brian Burns, New York Giants.
29.
Incorrect. Aaron Donald, Los Angeles Rams.
Go with 8.
99. We were looking for double nines for Aaron Donald and on the Rams. Brian Burns, this one's tough. 0. He's an edge rusher that wears 0, which is not what you think of originally. That's an offer. There's no real way to sugarcoat it, but
that's all good.
But I do hope you had some fun.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very
love
much.
The show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. Like I said, no real way to make that one feel good. But that does mean AJ and Raleigh snuck away with a win, scoring just 1. AJ, congrats.
Thanks.
You are the winner, which means you get Bryan Adams tickets. So stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize.
Okay.
There you go. Kirk Cousins, the difference. Kirk Cousins on the Falcons, the difference.
The Falcons' backup quarterback.
For now.
For now.
By
the way, we had a 5 for 5 on Friday.
Oh, did we?
On an NBA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to whoever that contestant
was. Nate in Durham.
Did you know how much of a bummer it is when you take a vacation day, got some family stuff to do, you put the 5 for 5 up when I'm not around? Make me think it's me that's making you get these 1s and 0s.
It's okay. We had this on Thursday. We have one person win with 1 and the other person gets 0. So you're totally fine.
That makes me feel better. By the way, Antoine Randall, that's a good guy's name in dudes. He was no receiver made you think every time he got a touch that he was going to throw it more than Antoine Randall. Was it Indiana quarterback?
Yeah, Indiana quarterback, then played with Pittsburgh, then played with Washington for a bit as well.
Every time he got it, if he wasn't across the line of scrimmage, I assumed it was going to be a double pass. Because they seem to do it all the time.
They did it in the Super Bowl.
To Hines Ward?
Yeah.
And that's like Steelers went from Cordell Stewart kind of into that era. They always had all these trick plays and stuff. They should bring it back.
Bill Cowher was known for that.
They should bring it back. Who's up there now? Can DK pass?
DK Metcalf?
And he can pass. Can he sling it?
He probably can. He's how big is he?
He could
probably throw the ball 90 yards.
I saw something that said if you go to like receiving yards over the age of 42, like Jerry Rice has like 2,000. And I'm making up the statistics, so don't it's not exactly true, but the stat you'll see. Number 2 is like Tom Brady was 6. Like that's the difference. Like that's how good Jerry Rice was late, and it was like whoa. How about Aaron Rodgers up does Tom Brady in old guy receptions on a catch from DK Metcalf for like 10 yards. How about it? In honor of Antoine Randall and everything he did with the Steelers and Cordell Stewart and all the trick plays they had. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Here's the deal. Everybody's knows somebody that works in the mortgage business, right? Everybody knows somebody. They got a cousin, they got a nephew, they got a neighbor, and that's great. But they might just be only able to access one rate, right? They have the rates they go to. When you're talking to Miller Lending, you're talking to a mortgage broker, which means they can shop to 30 plus different options to find the lowest rate for you. So you don't have to shop around. They'll do it for you, approach you with the lowest rate. And then on top of that, no closing costs. They have a no-cost loan that Gordon's been doing since 1987. No third-party fees. 0 means 0 at Miller Lending, which is lovely because then you don't feel as locked in or feel as bad about refinancing as soon as rates drop. Right? Because if you pay a ton of money in closing costs and to refinance, you have to pay a ton of money in closing costs again. You feel like, man, I just wasted all those closing costs. Take away the closing costs, refinance now. If rates drop a half point, refinance again. If they drop a half point, refinance again, and do it over and over and over again because it's no money out of your pocket. It's all possible at Miller Lending. The number to call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or visit them online at Miller Lending. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equalizing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. I have a pretty big concern with the Carolina Panthers, and it's starting to emerge again. It disappeared towards the end of last year, but it's starting to appear again this preseason. I'll tell you what that concern is coming up next right here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere.
Move your sports day forward.
A lesson learned this month, courtesy of some student athletes paying people via Venmo. When you're transferring money to friends, don't use real descriptions. Don't say sports gambling, especially if you're a student athlete playing sports. Try something different, like hide it under pizza or maybe feet pics.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone, available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here for Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you're struggling with weight like I have in the past, or maybe you've bounced from one fad diet to the next, you need to listen to this. I can proudly say that I'm down 25 pounds. That's right, 25 pounds in 3 weeks, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center, and that's just the beginning. The program helps reset your metabolism naturally. No injections, no steroids, no shots, no HGH, just your body doing what it naturally can do, which is burn off that weight. My clothes fit better, I'm sleeping better, my resting heart rate's the lowest it's been in years, my girlfriend doesn't complain about me snoring anymore. Get yourself where you need to be with Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Raleigh Weight Loss Center is having a huge end-of-summer sale offering up to 20% off now through August 29th with the lowest prices of the year on the amazing Raleigh Weight Loss program. Schedule your free consultation today by calling 919-897-7506. That's 919-897-7506 or online at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
From the 5, sets up in the pocket, looking middle. Pocket breaks down, he rolls out to the right side. At the 15, directing traffic at the 10. Throws back in the end zone, Jalen Coker's got it. Coker for the touchdown, and the Panthers score first.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, a few things I want to make sure are on your radar. Coming up in about 16 minutes, Panther Talk here on 99.9 The Fan. You'll hear from Anish Shroff, Dave Canales. You'll get insight into the preseason that was, right? Their starters, Dunzo, not playing on Thursday against the Steelers. So Panther Talk tonight. We'll dive into all of those decisions. Tomorrow at 5:30, so right about this time, a little bit earlier, Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach, will be joining this show on the Houston Automotive Group hotline. And then Wolfpack Weekly will be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So you want to hear from Dave Dorn, insight into NC State's football preseason. That'll be at 7 o'clock on Wednesday.
Also 7 o'clock Wednesday on Buzz Sports Radios when you can hear the Duke Blue Devil Coaches Show with Manny Diaz.
Beautiful. Lots of football going on.
All the stuff for you all.
Finally here.
It really is. By the way, we have college football games this Saturday.
Real ones, too.
Yeah, real ones.
They count.
Yeah.
Not scrimmages that we pretend count.
Mm-hmm.
The real ones that count. The Ireland game is this weekend.
That's right. Along with a few others. Week 0.
Beautiful.
NC Central plays this weekend.
Beautiful. Very good. One thing is really scaring me, speaking of football, about Canales, meaning Dave Canales, head coach of the Panthers. The biggest concern for me is his ability to, for lack of a better term, to raise a young quarterback. No pun intended with Bryce Young. There are certain parts of football that are very schematic, right? You have to be able to recognize what a defense is trying to do to you and how to counter it with scheme and play call. Then there are parts that are very gut feel, right? Very, what does this guy need to hear? What's going to motivate him the best? Does he need me to pick him up right now, or does he need me to chop him down right now? Or does he need me to stay the heck out of it and let him figure it out on his own? I have disagreed with the way Dave Canales has brought Bryce Young along at darn near every step until the last 2 games of last year. Right? I hated the benching. I thought once you bench him, you're ruining confidence. Whatever. At that point in time, it was so low stakes. They were pretty much out on Bryce. Whatever. Okay? It happens. I didn't like that they didn't play him in the preseason much last year because I didn't think they were getting him ready to battle the ups and downs of a season. I didn't love that. I didn't love that even when he took back over for Andy Dalton due to Andy Dalton's car crash and the wrist injury, thumb injury, whatever it was. I didn't like that every week it felt like it was a 1-week contract on Bryce to be the starter, right? He never announced it after the game. It was, we're going to gather all the information. We're going to watch the tape, and then he'd name him the starter Wednesday. And I'm going that's so unnecessarily tough on his emotions. Finally, towards the end, he was like, that's our guy. And I was like, thank you. Now we come into this preseason, and again, he's not giving Bryce the opportunity to build this confidence. If there's one thing I've said the most in my radio career, decade plus, hosted shows for years, talked about football at every level. Going way back to the beginning, we're talking 6-man football, 8-man football, high school football, college football, NFL. I've talked every level of football. I've done play-by-play for 6-man football. The thing I've said the most, it was a long time ago, but it was a heck of a time. The thing I've said most is quarterback is a confidence position. If the quarterback doesn't believe in themselves, there's no way the rest of the team believes in him. And if nobody's believing in the quarterback, nothing is going to go the way you want. So right now, the way the Panthers have set up their preseason is they watch Bryce Young lead 4 drives, a 3-and-out, a touchdown drive against the backups, if that, of the Cleveland Browns, 2 more 3-and-outs, ugly 3-and-outs. And you're going to go into the week 1 at Jacksonville up against a team with some talent and some intrigue, and you're going to have that be the lasting image that the team got of their quarterback. Without, by the way, all of the excuses that they've had in the past. It's the same coach. It's the same system. Offensive line is talented. I know they weren't all healthy, but there are a lot of guys with starting experience out there on that offensive line last game. The wide receivers aren't good enough. You drafted one 8th overall. Running game, Chuba Hubbard paid him, brought in Rico Dowdle, another 1,000-yard rusher, and drafted a 4th-rounder in ETN. Not much turnover in the coaching staff. There's really no excuses, and that's the confidence you have rolling in. I don't like it. I don't. It's a confidence position. And how in the world is Bryce Young confident right now? Outside of, right, athletes are internally self-esteem and they always believe in themselves. Yes, there's that. But that's way different than I just played well type of confidence. 6 plays. 7 plays if you include the penalty. 7 plays is all they gave him in a preseason game. And by the way, do you know how I think you build the confidence the most? You build the confidence the most in a young quarterback by letting him struggle and having him find the way to the other side. The times that Bryce has struggled in his career, which is most of his rookie year and then the beginning part of his second year, the snowballs got going against him pretty good, right? The momentum got going against him, and he wasn't able. They weren't able, partially due to supporting cast, partially due to coaching, partially due to himself. He's got to take some of that blame pie as well. They weren't able to wrestle momentum back from the avalanche that was going against him. 2 bad series, followed up by a good series, maybe 2 good series, is worth its weight in gold, and everybody else saying, we can watch Bryce struggle and we're still confident in him. And I know it's unfair to compare him to this person I'm about to talk to you about, but I want you to think about it. Pat Mahomes, he has a winning record after his team goes down by double digits, which means when the Chiefs go down 10, he's won 12 of 22 games, when nobody else is near 500. Think about the confidence that gives the rest of his team in him. He could be playing gosh darn awful. And everybody on the team is going, wait for it. It's coming. He's going to get it. Wait for it. That's how confident they are in that guy. Bryce Young, you just watched him struggle and took him out of the game. Everybody's going, wait for it. Wait. Oh, no, he's done? Okay, yeah, it's cool. Nah, he just played bad today. That's all he did. Just threw a really bad jump ball when he thought he had a free play. Overshot Ted McMillan on a high degree of difficulty pass. Missed both Sanders and Rico Dowdle on a third down that might have picked it up. Took a sack. No, that's all we saw. Bryce Young spoke to the media after the game about the team growing from this preseason game.
You know, it's always a blessing when we go out there and take the field. Yeah, you know, obviously you want, for us with the ones, you want a different result. It sucks, you know, but that's preseason football. You know, you kind of get that sample size, and obviously you want to go well early, get it done fast, and didn't get that done today. So, of course, we're going to go watch the film tomorrow, grow from that. But, you know, obviously you trust, you know, Coach has a plan. He does everything for a reason. Obviously there's a process with all the preseason stuff. So it was always exciting to watch the guys play, watch the young guys get in. So, you know, we'll grow and learn.
I don't think you should be able to create opinions off preseason games because it's just preseason, I know. But if it reinforces something that you already thought previous, I think that's a conversation we can have. And I'm back to where I was last year on Bryce. Get mad. You had a horrendous 2-series streak and weren't allowed to go in and get that taste out of your mouth with a third series, and you're sitting there talking about it's always fun to watch the young guys get into the game? You're doing all the spin zone for Coach. Say, no, I wanted to be out there. I know we can execute better. Demand something. You're the starting quarterback. You're the starting quarterback. Walk out there the next series and tell your offensive line to walk with you. Take some, it's happened during his struggles in the past. Dave Canales is something I've vocalized in the past about Dave Canales. He's so gosh darn upbeat and optimistic. Sometimes a coach needs to be mad. Sometimes you need to it's not okay to play like you played in that game. It's not okay. And it's not fun. It's not always great to watch the young guys play. Nothing should have been great for the rest of your day after those 2 series. The food you ate after the game should have tasted bland, even if it was the most delicious food you've ever tasted, because that's that bad. I've had this conversation recently about Tommy Fleetwood for my golf fans out there. Tommy Fleetwood is one of the top 20 golfers in the world. He's never won on the PGA Tour. He's had a ton of leads on Sunday, and he always gets caught. He always collapses. And do you know what he does immediately after he loses? Oh, you know, Rory played great. Oh, it was just fun to be in the mix down the stretch. You know, I played pretty well all week. Sometimes it's not in the cards. And I'm going, that right there is why you're never going to win. What happens when Rory loses? He doesn't talk to the media. He speeds off. Everybody gets mad at him. They call him a jerk. That's why he wins. That's why he wins. People used to, like the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Bradys, they would be astronomically upset if they played that way in a preseason game. They'd be having the offense get together on the sideline to look at just mad. Nobody should have been in a good mood. Nobody should have been pretending to be in a good mood on that offense. Dave Canales should have yelled at Bryce. Bryce should have been, I don't know if it's like yelling at your team, but be demonstrably upset. There was one moment last year, and I forget what it was. I'll have to go back and look it up, where Bryce slammed down the tablet. Just one little, he was looking at pictures on the little tablet and swiping, and he just went boom. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Thank goodness. Look at that. Yeah. Right? Go out there a little bit upset with how you're playing when you're playing bad. Don't go over the top, but goodness gracious, you got to take ownership if you're the quarterback. Coach has a plan. There's method to his madness in the preseason. Coach, I want to go back out there. Do it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And if you did and Dave Canales didn't listen, I hate that even more about Dave Canales. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming to a close here on a Monday. Thank you to everybody that jumped on the show for Monday Sound Off. All the listeners out there got to call in Sound Off. We'll be doing it again next Monday. So start brainstorming, writing down your takes if you need to. We do have Panther Talk coming up next here on 99.9 The Fan. Hear more insight into what happened with the Carolina Panthers in their preseason game as they move towards the regular season. And Blake Harrell tomorrow on the show at 5:30. ECU head football coach. Looking forward to that. Thank you to Dennis for keeping us up and running. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If we're going to do a quick power ranking right now of second-year QBs, you're saying Jaden 1.
Yes.
2 Knicks.
Correct.
3.
May.
Which would leave us 4 Caleb.
At best. You got J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. I would have all 3 of those guys in the hat. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams is 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams was 6th.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country. Here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best